Do you want to be a part of the Coco community? Sure, we all do. So join this free weekly live talk show to find out how easy it is to watch at home and learn about your color computer. At the CoCoNation, more than 9 million men and women have participated in the community without setting foot outside their homes. And now at home in your spare time, you can see what's happening, or even join the discussion. Choose from any one of these segments: panel intros, project updates, acquisitions, Coco thoughts, featured interviews and events, the Game On Challenge, news, Ron's Garage, Coco commercials, show coverage, panel goodbyes, or you can join one of our extra shows. You can choose from the Game On Challenge Live or Coco Tech. Join the CoCoNation right now.
Click the link for the free information TJB Chris spoke about. Then decide if you want to watch the CoCoNation Live Show, the world's leading live weekly talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer, its siblings, cousins, and red-headed stepchildren. Visit thecoconation.com. There is no obligation, and no salesman will visit you. Visit thecoconation.com.
The CoCoNation show is an unscripted, live, and interactive broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own, and not necessarily those of the CoCoNation show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds are encouraged, and a sense of humor is recommended. Thank you for being a part of the CoCoNation.
Radio Shack? Okay.
What?
The 80s called.
Welcome to the CoCoNation, the world's first live and interactive talk show featuring the Tandy color computer and its hardware cousins.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CoCoNation show, episode 432. Let's see. On the panel today, we've got Marco.
Hey there, glad to be here today.
And next over, yours truly. Then we got Sloopy Malibu. Hi. And working off a community service sentence, Wayne Nut.
Hello.
And
I heard that. I did catch that.
And next over, Rick Hewlett.
I'm going to stop fixing problems for a while and create some. So,
All right, we got Kevin number one.
Hello, everybody.
Next row, we've got Ron Deluxe.
Welcome. Glad to be here.
Glad you're here.
And L Curtis Boyle.
Welcome to the show, everyone. The last weekend of Septandy officially.
Is it?
right.
Wow.
It is.
I'm trying to get done, man. Trying.
Today's the 27th.
No pressure.
And last but not least, we got Bob Emery.
Howdy, welcome to the show.
Okay, in the chat, we've got Kevin Holloway, Coco Living, Tony Ryan, Daddy Burrito, Stop Scrolling, Sixy, Wayne Campbell, Jim Rye, Tom Eric Gunderson, Marco, Kevin Croker, and Craker.
Craker.
Okay,
Baker.
Craig.
Yeah.
I don't see an A in there anywhere.
Canadian pronunciation.
Oh, like Kahlua, right?
Actually,
Yeah, the
it's
proper
spelled
way
like
of spelling
German
it.
or something.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, okay.
You have to remember which one of those was first.
I lost track. Okay, Jim Rye, last one up. Brian Walsh jumping right in. Okay.
Excellent.
And we're going to do things a little out of order today. So first up is...
When you want the latest in TRS-80, Tandy, Dragon, MC-10, and all of their hardware cousins. No matter what it takes, or where news breaks, from around the world to your nation. The CoCoNation News with L Curtis Boyle.
Yeah, sorry for screwing up the order here because I've got a hard out in 2 hours.
Tell you what, before we jump in the news, Coco Living has a question there in chat. What's the best editor assembler? Don't want to use an emulator.
I'd recommend, I assume he runs on the actual Coco. I would go with the extensions to EdTasm by
Yeah, the
what's his
Diskette
name?
TASM or the Coco 3
Yeah.
ones by Robert Galt.
Robert Galt. Yeah, because that covers the 6309. So Robert Galt extension. Send him the bucks.
Yeah. That'd probably be my recommendation too. There's a couple other pretty good ones that aren't used by as many people though, so your ability to get help from the community would be a bit less. Like there's the one by SurComp was a pretty good one. Edit ASM 3, I think it was called EDT ASM.
There's
the one that just got released recently
yeah.
that I finally got some documentation thanks to Glen Dahlgren last week. Is also a good one. It's going to be the fastest one on a Coco 3 if you're doing Coco 3 specific stuff, which is what George Jansen's tutorials have been on, so that would make sense. There's a few others that support RAM drives and stuff too. I think Robert Galtz does as well. But people like Nick Morenni's use Robert Galtz quite extensively. So if you need any help, Nick's available for help, and hopefully he'll be on the show a little bit later himself.
What's the name of it?
Which one?
The one you just talked about.
The Glen Glen Dahlgren and Sundog. What is it? It's called
Phantasm.
That's
Phantasm,
yeah.
The documentation, what little there is, has not been uploaded to the archive yet, but the actual disk image is there. That's the one that both Dicom and Sundog systems used.
Okay. And now for the news.
Okay, so first thing I want to mention, our last episode we interviewed Glen Dahlgren, and actually we got the documentation for Phantasm, which will be uploaded shortly. That one's actually over 600 views on YouTube alone already, which is pretty fast for us to hit that number of viewers. So that was pretty cool.
You're saying it's Phantasm?
Phantasm.
That was a rumor that was going
Phantom
around.
viewers, I think it's just me signing up 400 times and rewatching it to pump our numbers.
That's why we're going to bring him back.
Because I'm having trouble hearing what the actual name is.
Phantasm.
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 Right.
Okay.
And that's unofficial. Like they didn't actually call it that. They just said editor assembler. But Glenn, when he was going to market it originally, it was going to be called Phantasm. Probably do that Phantom of the Opera opening credits on Sinistar that Dave Ghost wrote. So I'm guessing Glenn probably based it somewhat on that. So yeah, good to hear that we got over 600 views. So that's good. I didn't check Twitch numbers or anything else or downloads, so it's more than that. But that's pretty fast for us to hit 600.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with the upcoming stuff because actually Bob Emery's here to talk about the very first one that's coming up. So let me share that particular screen here. Once I figure out which one it is, that's the one.
Hotel in Grand Prairie, Texas.
Yeah, no, you've actually been to this one numerous times, and it's actually a pretty good size show, and it's basically a day event.
Yeah, basically. Usagi Electric has been out there. 8-Bit Guy has been there at not every time, but different times. And Mauser Electronics actually is a sponsor of the show. So.
Yeah, from what I remember, you've shown us some pictures, even done some live streams from it before, and it's a decent size. Like there's probably 50 to 100 people attend each time, or more. Maybe.
I would say more, maybe a couple hundred. It's a pretty good sized bingo hall. Last time I was there, it was pretty full.
And you get to play bingo and win some of these old machines too, or?
There's no bingo going on that day.
Dang, it'd be a pretty good prize to win a Coco 3 with 2 meg or something.
Yeah, right.
That'd be a good price to win anytime.
Well, the Apple One would be like retirement money.
Yep.
All right, it's happening Saturday, October the 18th from noon till 4 p.m. Central Time at the Bingo in Grand Prairie, Texas, which is near Dallas, Fort Worth, I'm presuming.
That's smack in the middle between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And are you planning on going this year, Bob, and showing off the Coco? And does anybody else bring Cocos to that fairly regularly, or?
There have been in the past, and this time around I will be there. I'll take a couple of my machines with me and just set them up. Probably have them gaming, maybe with the Gimme Z.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that there was a second batch of Gimme Z's that went out or was about to go out. I haven't been able to follow too close on Discord, but it sounded like another batch was going out.
Yeah, some people got
I'm
one.
not
Sure. I understand it.
I haven't seen Alan himself on for a while, so I don't know if he's just busy with real life stuff or not, because there's a little, not bugs really, but, feature tweaks that would make it more compatible to Gimme X's, like auto detection and stuff. That would be nice to throw in a little firmware update. But I think he's already shipped like over 50 of them, so that's almost caught up to what the Gimme X did back in the day. Okay, so if you're in the Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas area, which of course is the place that Tandy was based back in the day, it's kind of right in the old backyard there, and you want to check out a bunch of retro computers, including a bunch of Tandy ones, and Bob with his Coco I would definitely highly recommend. These happen about what, 4 times a year, roughly every 3 months or something?
Seems like twice a year, although I think they say they're quarterly. Seems more like they're happening twice a year.
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
Cool.
Near the hub.
So, go ahead.
It's like near the hub of the Metroplex, which sounds good till you realize it's Hearst, Hewlett, Bedford.
I might as well mention, if anybody's in the Springfield, Ohio area, the Tandy Assembly is going on today. It has been going on yesterday as well, and I think it goes on Sunday as well. And there's live presentations and booths and everything else too. And a few of their videos from some of the presentations are already up on the YouTube page. In fact, I'll be covering one of them a little bit later in the show, but definitely check out, because they're posting as the days go on here. So I don't even know what all the different things are, but there's one from Jim Brain, the president of Glenside, about Coco 3 and the MMU. So that'll be an interesting one. Next up after that is the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, October 17th and 19th at the Oregon Convention Center in Portland, Oregon. Obviously, this is a very game-centric one, hence the name. But this covers consoles and home computers and arcade and any tie-ins with the games. Like you can see on the screen here, they're interviewing one of the voices for Mario Brothers. So you're actually getting a bunch of other stuff. I'm thinking there's probably some cosplay stuff there too, from what I remember. Tim and AJ have gone to the show and had a good time, though it's fairly expensive as a vendor. I don't think it's too bad for the public to go in, but if you're into the gaming side of things, I definitely, if you're in the Oregon area there, I would definitely go check it out. Next after that, we have RetroSC in Brazil. This, of course, is all the fellows that we've had on the show before talking about the CP400 and the Kodamax and a whole bunch of other Coco clones that were not officially sanctioned by anybody, because Brazil had really loose copyright rules back in the day, and also wanted to pump up their own local computer manufacturing. So they would just, make clones of Commodores and Spectrums and Cocos and Ataris and everything else they could get their hands on with no legal repercussions. And there was at least half a dozen different Coco clones, the CP400 probably being the most successful of them. So some of the people we've had in the show, like Luciano and Erico and others, will be there. And because this is taking place on November the 15th, which is traditionally winter up here in the Northern Hemisphere. Well, they're in the Southern Hemisphere, so it's summer. So you'd be on the beach, and the beach is literally not that far from the center that they actually hold the event. And there's a lot of live interactive demos and stuff. And I think there was like 600-700, maybe 1,000 people at it last year. So it's actually quite a big event. And Erico has offered for anybody who wants to come from North America or from England, et cetera, that speak English but don't speak Portuguese in Brazil, I believe.
Yes,
he's really good at translating between the two, and he's offered to actually help tour people around that may not be able to natively converse. And some of the others, like Luciano and others, actually know English fairly well too, and can you can talk to them as well. But Erico is quite fluent in English, and he's definitely recommend people go. And just from the pictures we've seen, some of the live streams we've had from there, it does look a very interesting show. And I do plan on doing it at some point, because it's kind of nice just to get out of the snow. Speaking of, though, if you wait till January, you can go to Montreal in Canada, and it's the first VCF that's officially sanctioned in Canada and Montreal. I was hoping Frederick would be here to translate some of these pronunciations here, but basically it's at the Royal Military College just outside of Montreal, I'll say, instead of saying that. And it's still getting set up, but it's the first official one. John Kowalski, Sockmaster, is planning on attending and may even have a booth. Frederick is also planning on having his attendance. I'm not sure if he's planning on a booth or not, but that means there's be at least a few 6809, 609 people there. And I'm hoping John will actually bring out some of the demos that he showed at PenFest 25 years ago that haven't been seen since. There's one really cool one. Rick, I think, were you at PenFest 2000?
No, I never made PenFest.
Okay. I don't know if anybody on the panel is here, but he had a one that required 2 meg RAM to run, and it was a digitized picture of a Coco in full color rotating on a pedestal, 360 degrees going around on the screen. It looked pretty impressive. So I'm hoping he brings that one out. Next up after that is the big kahuna for the Coco community. That's CoCoFEST itself. And this is the 34th annual last Chicago CoCoFest, and that's added on to the 1983 to 1991 Rainbow Fests that are also in the Chicago area. So it's been going on for quite a while. 42 years, I think, now. So at any rate, the dates have been firmed up. It's April 24th and 25th. I think the hotel's already got its discount code if you scroll through on the Glenside site. By the way, if you need links to any of these shows or any of the news stories we'll be covering, you can get them in the show notes in the Discord. which are already in there right now, in a separate little section that's reserved for that. And if you're on the Coco listserv, which I'll have another news update on that here a little bit later, Exile in Paradise usually posts those on Sunday, so basically tomorrow, and you'll be able to catch it up there as well. But possibly only till January, we'll have to see. And after that, the last one I've got currently is VCF LATAM, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, 2026. This is the first official VCF in South America, and it's even further south than Brazil, so it should be really good weather out there. And this takes place April 24th to 26th in Bahia Blanca in Argentina. Now, unfortunately, this happens to be the exact same weekend as CoCoFEST, so I guess if you're already living down in South America somewhere, that's probably an easier place to get to. So definitely go attend that. But I think a lot of the Coco people will probably be, staying up here and going to CoCoFEST in Chicago. Hopefully next year they can get it on a different weekend or maybe in a different month or something, so that the events are a bit spread out. And of course, Rick and I really like this ADM38 terminal they've got on their cover page, because we both worked with those a lot.
Old times.
Yep. Me on a PDP 1138, I think it was. What was yours hooked up to, Rick?
Oh, a couple different things. Mainly that Hewlett Packard system we could all get on, because we saved our login from school. But I didn't say that.
Oh, I see an update from Mark Overhold in the chat here. Robert Gult's released EdTasm Plus for free now. It's not a pay thing anymore.
Yeah, I'd realized that was old news. That was like a year or so ago. It's available.
No, I forgot about that too. I just so used to it being a $15 upgrade. So it's on the archive, and you posted the link for it. So anybody else who wants to do native assembly on a Coco 3, go grab that. Exactly. And then you can try Phantasm later once documentation's uploaded, because it's supposed to be the fastest by far. I believe Glen is quoted as saying it was twice as fast as any other Coco 3 assembler. So that's it for upcoming shows. If you guys out in the audience there or in the chat have any other shows that I don't know about, send them to me. There's a news topic suggestions channel on the Discord, or you can send it to Curtis Boyle at sastal.net via good old email. Don't send it to me via Canada Post right now, because they're on strike and I have no idea when they'll be delivering mail again. But I'll add them to the list. And then next up after that, as we have been doing the last couple months, we're doing the Dragon news first, so that all of our people in jolly old UK or Europe will get the news not at 3 in the morning. And today they get the extra bonus that the news is coming on early, so they actually, they might actually still be awake at this point. So let's go straight over to the regular news.
Or they'll come on later and wonder what happened to the news.
Right, I missed the news.
Oh no! Could be. Okay,
that's called retro rewind then.
Okay, so there's actually a few bits here today, so let's get started with that first. So as I mentioned last week, the organizer for the annual Dragon meetup, who's Tony Jewell, he also organizes some other retro ones, but he was getting the original plan for Dragon meetup being in the fall. It was within 3 weeks of one of the major retro things that he organizes, which is for all computers, and he just doesn't have the time to try to do both within a 3-week span of each other. So he's asking and taking suggestions about maybe moving it to the spring, so spring of next year, basically. And everybody seemed to be okay with that. So I think they've kind of said, yeah, that's what's going to happen. They haven't got an official date yet, but he was kind of aiming at the mid-March timeframe. And so he did a post about this. I'm initially asking if it would be okay to do so on the World of Dragon forums. That's worldofdragon.org, which is the place you go for everything Dragon. And I don't think they've from the dates up since I checked this out earlier, but it looks like everybody's pretty well agree with the mid-March thing. So we'll, as soon as we get the final details on the date and location, et cetera, we'll post that up and we'll make it part of the upcoming shows and stuff too. Next to that, we have a post from Julian Brown. I'm not sure if he's in the chat right now or not. He's got a bazillion projects going on at once, so he posted this little update, and it's a little video. So we've been talking about his configuration controller, and this is using the web interface to it, and it's basically where you can actually set some of the low-level hardware when you're booting up a machine for doing testing. And you hardware guys can probably explain a lot of this stuff a lot better than me. but he said it's coming along quite nicely, using a Nod MCU to serve up the content. Works with mouse clicks too. Play a little bit of the video here. I definitely need that loud. But basically, you can select which machine you're booting from, and then you can start, configuring. Do you want 64K RAM or 32K RAM, etc. And it says here the configure should change the next cold boot. So, Mark, if you have any details, feel free to fire away.
I don't.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sharing my whole desktop. I didn't want to do that.
Yep.
I just noticed it myself.
There were people that were having
a conniption over how many things I got on my desktop.
Yes, exactly. They're having trauma over so many folders.
You should see my second screen. It's got more.
No.
Don't mention the third screen. Don't mention the third screen.
We will post links for trauma counseling in a few minutes.
Oh boy.
I think
There,
Chris
that should be the
follows
proper
the
one.
place for everything and everything all over the place.
No, I've got a bunch of stuff. I've downloaded a bunch of things off the archive that I'm doing updates and stuff on, and doing some research and stuff on too. And I just have been throwing it on my desktop by default because I haven't really had time to organize it. One of the reasons I've been actually leaving early is that there's a medieval show going on at the university, and one of the guys that's in it is a Coco guy. He used to be one of the managers of the Radio Shack. In fact, I bought my same 8 monitor off him back in the day, and I'm gonna try to convince him to kind of try to get back into the Coco community. He popped in the chat here a few times last year and was actually interacting with some of the people there, but I want to actually get him on the show at some point. So I'm going to go try to twist his arm. So this the reason I'm leaving is actually Coco related to a certain extent.
We'll give you a pass.
Right.
And no docking of your pay this week.
Yeah. But I have been told I have to clean my desktop up.
Or else.
Actually, what I should do is make the icons smaller so I can fit them all on one screen.
Ooh. But then never mind.
I've got more folders in my desktop than I got in the entire hard drive. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, next up after that, John Whitworth posted he's installing ReCaptcha on his DragonClassElectronics.com site checkout. Because, of course, that's where you order all the stuff like super RGBs and et cetera that he sells to stop card fraudsters, which he's actually been having some issues with lately. So he's currently kind of testing it. So he wants people to kind of like, if you are placing an order with him, to kind of like report back to him and kind of let him know how the experience went. And hopefully it will work okay. But he's having some issues with some like credit card fraud happening on his site ordering stuff. And that's never good for any vendor. Miga Retro says, you got more icons than my old dad. You got 200 tabs open in Chrome too? I'm not using Chrome. Where am I? No, I'm using Firefox. Chrome on my machine actually is more of a memory peg than Firefox is now. And actually literally crashes the whole machine with a kernel panic every once in a while. So
I've seen the same problem on Linux. It's like it starts sucking up all the RAM till it crashes everything. It's like, what the heck? Some sort of memory leak.
Yeah, and it's been there a while because I do have Chrome, but I've tried every once in a while when they release a new one, it's not fixed. Okay, after that, for those that are interested in the Dragon MMC, which is kind of like the Dragon version of the Coco SDC, but without the SDC front end and stuff, but it also has some features that the SDC does not have. Like it allows you to save and load cassette images as well as disk images. Quite handy because a lot of the software for the Dragon was more created for tape drives than it was for disk drives, just because disk drives in Europe were so expensive compared to what they were in North America. So a lot of us, by the mid 80s had switched completely disk drives and never looked at cassette again. That's not what happened in Europe on any of the machines like the Spectrum, the Coco, etc. So
just the Apple IIs.
What's that?
Just the Apple IIs because, Apple.
Well, because you had to be rich to have one of those anyway. So
right.
You could afford a disk drive.
Exactly.
The elite kids. But anyway, a person named Richard Herbert was asking about when do they get released and how often. And one response in particular that stands out is Phil Harvey-Smith said, just working on its replacement as one of the used components went end of life. No ETA yet. Now, this is the same thing happening with the Coco SDC, because some of the chips on that are also end of life. And basically, once they run out, you can never make one again type thing. And that was one of the reasons that Retro Rewind and Darren Atkinson are working together and getting a Coco SDC 2 with new chips that you can still get off the shelf, but two, what the heck, since you're doing a redesign anyway, let's add a bunch of features like a real-time clock, etc. So it sounds like the Dragon MSC might be going through some of the same stuff. I don't know if Phil's actually doing any additional changes and updates. Right now, he's kind of mentioning, no, he wanted to make it as compatible as possible because somebody had asked if there's any changes as far as new functions and stuff. But I'm wondering if he's just doing that to make sure it's compatible at first, and then maybe once it's stable, start adding some new functions too, just like the Coco SDC 2 is doing. And I will mention that the Coco SDC 1 that you guys all have is getting some software updates that are part of this update as well too. So you'll be seeing some firmware and other updates coming as well. SDC DOS, for example, is getting some updates.
Yay. And thank you, Darren.
Yeah. That is the most useful out of all the third-party add-ons, I think. It's CoCoFEST, because most people think it just emulates, floppy drives. No, it emulates cartridges. You can do up to 8 cartridge, banks at a time, including alternate DOSes, etc. It emulates hard drives. It adds a whole bunch of features supporting drive wire. Like it's much more than that. This new one is even more so again. Okay, next up, and the last of the Dragon-specific ones, Dave's 8-Bit Basement on YouTube did a follow-up video about his Dragon 32, which he had received and we covered probably a couple months ago. And apparently this, the video, he actually back in February or March, and he finally got time to put it up because he's one of those guys that goes through and repairs like stuff from all over the place. I do like the fact that he has a Magnavox 8515 style monitor. Maybe it's a Commodore one, but it's the same one I've got sitting up in my corner here. But he's been having some issues with video and stuff. So he basically has this video that goes about 40 minutes where he's trying to diagnose and kind of talking through things. He doesn't quite resolve it, but he thinks he might have some bad RAM and stuff that's causing some of the problems. So he's doing a follow-up video where he's actually going to get into the details and figure out what's going on. He also got some new stickers and stuff to replace the ones he had on, because the ones he had were quite yellowed from the sun. Next up, Lee Perkins, who kind of took a bit of a break from Coco stuff here for the past few months, came back on Discord and mentioned he's going to be starting to work on Cloud Kingdoms again, which is going to be a Coco 3 vertical and hardware, or vertical and horizontal hardware scrolling game based on the PC game of the same name. If you want to kind of guess what it looks like visually, if you've seen Mind Roll by Epix, the cartridge game for the Coco 1, 2, and 3 that Tandy sold in 89 or 88, it looks similar to that, though the gameplay is a fair bit different. But he published a little blog post here talking about how do you detect the difference between an 86 and a 1987 GIME. And there's some timing differences. If you're using the programmable timer interrupt on the FIRQ, for example, the 87 one, I think, gives you 1 extra cycle it can detect at the beginning compared to the 86. So if you're trying to precisely time, like, say, sound samples, it can throw you off. And there is a way to use, a combination of the horizontal sync, which is fixed, or the horizontal, maybe it's a horizontal or vertical, I can't remember which one of them, against the timer. And you can figure out which GIME you have just by counting how many interrupts you get off the timer, programmable timer. So it kind of goes into explanation here, explaining exactly what it is and what the differences are between the two. There's also differences between the NDC and the PAL version, so you have to take that into consideration as well if you're writing for stuff that was, written, that will run on Australian machines, for example, which are PAL. And then he gives some sample source code to explain it too. But he's actually getting back to Cloud Kingdoms, and he was pretty far along last time we looked. So I'm looking forward to that. That's pretty
nice.
top tier Coco 3 game.
Great info too.
Yeah. Speaking of great info on programming for the 6809, Glen Hewlett of all the transcodes fame, and he's also done the basic to 689 compiler, which he's still working on, which I think is the fastest compiler for taking basic programs and converting them to machine language on the Coco. It's faster than the ones we had back in the day. It's faster than the cross-platform ones that are still out, like UBasic, MicroBasic. Mind you, the advantage of MicroBasic is that you can write once and it'll be ready for like 50 platforms, not just Cocos. Glen's optimizing for Coco specifically. But he mentions here in his little blog post, and it's another optimization trick. He said, while working on the basic to 609 compiler, I've been trying to optimize the code as much as possible. Nothing groundbreaking here, but I thought I'd share a little trick I came over copying 8 bytes of RAM to another location in RAM. And I think some of the variables he has, I think for doubles and stuff, is 8 bytes, so it's perfect for that. You can also do it multiple times if you want to, block copy a screen for a scroll or something. But basically, he does, he shows you like the typical way a typical 8-bit copy would work, which is what most of us probably started with. It takes 144 cycles. And then you start using like direct page with load store directs. which cuts it down to 48 cycles. And then another one here where he's doing indexed offsets, takes 52 cycles, but takes a few less bytes. So he's going through like optimizing for speed, optimizing for memory usage, etc. And then he's got one here using the user stack, which is both smaller and faster. And this is a typical way of using the second. We have 2 index registers in the 609 and the 609, so you can use the user stack U, and you can use that as a source. You can pull like 6 bytes at a time. And then he does this little trick here. He loads U from U because he has the address or the last 2 bytes. So he's already pulled off the first 6, and he loads U where he actually got the source from, overwrites that with the new value, stores it directly, and then he loads U with the destination just below where he stored that, and then he pushes it back on. So you basically have done the copy quite fast and quite small. And that little trick I've not really used too much. I've used most of this in a loop type thing, but I haven't really done that. So that's kind of a neat trick. As he mentions, he's handling 64-bit integers and floating point values that are stored as 8 bytes. So he's using it for copying variables a lot inside the compiler. This was cool for me. Alan Huffman, who's attended a lot of shows from PenFest to CoCoFEST to the Atlanta CoCoFEST back in the 90s and the 2010s. He used to have his Disney fans website where he had a lot of photos from Disney because he's a huge Disney fan. He used to visit Steve Bjork there all the time. We'll be talking about him a bit later too. But his Disney fan site disappeared some years ago and all the photos went bye-bye. Well, he's now created on subbeneaththesoftware.com where he keeps his blogs going, some Coco stuff, some more modern stuff. And he's put all the photos back from Atlanta Fest going back to 1992, Chicago Fest back to 1997. He's got some little video clips every once in a while, and he's kind of organized it. And coming up to pretty recent ones too. I'm not going to go click through these, but I found myself in some of the old 90s ones when my mullet was really pronounced, and a bunch of things like that. And some of the people, there's quite a few people that sadly have passed away since some of these photos were taken, but it's a good trip down memory lane. And you see people like Brother Jeremy and Kevin Darling and Kent Myers and some of the people you still see at CoCoFEST today, like Mark Marlette and Rick Hewlett.
But back then we were all tall, skinny guys with lots of hair.
Yeah, I noticed both of us had longer hair and skinnier by far. Chris Hawks of Hawksoft over here, for example. And getting into more recent ones, like when they started coming back on again. And attendance started to go back on the increase when the whole retro thing started to bloom. Because it had slowed down for a while. I think it's John Linville. There was Farfall shirts. So yeah, there's just a ton of cool stuff on here. You could spend an entire day just going through this. So maybe somebody will live streaming, just kind of go through memory lane. But thanks, Alan, for putting that all back online, because I kind of missed seeing some of that stuff. Next up, Coco Town, and this time my search algorithm that I use on YouTube actually found it, so I'm not sure what the heck was going on. He's put out his next episode of Game Revolutions, where he's doing the redo of a Moon Patrol game he started as a teenager, and he's learned a lot since then, so he's kind of redoing the whole thing. And now he's adding stuff beyond Moon Patrol. So on the last episode, he decided to have a big boss monster, which you can kind of see pictures on the screen here. And kind of like the game Phoenix, basically, there's a bunch of rotating shields, and you have to blast through them. And of course, since they're rotating, you have to like time your shots, etc., to get through to blow them up. And he said this was a lot harder than you think. And there's some hilarious takes of where things go hideously wrong, which is something he's kind of known for. But I'll play the intro because he's always funny on those and kind of give you a bit of an idea what his flavor and style is if you haven't watched stuff before. But it's a great blog. And there's multiple blogs right now going on for Coco development. Lee Perkins is one we just mentioned for Cloud Kingdoms. We've got Coco Town here with the Moon Patrol clone. I don't think even that has an official title for it. We've got 8-Bits in the Basement, Peter from France, who's doing his Super Shooty Space Aliens, or what the heck it's called. I can't remember the name of it, which is a Semigraphics 24 game. So there's a whole ton of game development going on right now. Nick, of course, is trying to finish his pinball game, and he's got his next game already kind of conceptualized. Go ahead, Mark.
Jeff Noyce, I think.
Jeff Noyle, yeah.
Yeah, Noyle, sorry.
Yeah, he's working on a 512K PC, Windows, and Coco 3 game that you can actually save your game states between the two, and it's a big Ultima style game.
Yeah,
there's a lot of game development actually going on. There's some other ones too. There's some basic ones we'll be covering a little bit later on today as well. But I'll play the little intro here, just like I said, if you haven't watched this stuff before, you can get a bit of a flavor.
Yeah, it doesn't look like these bullets. They're not penetrating. penetrating far up. They're penetrating a couple layers. And then they kind of stop. I'm not seeing any holes up in this layer. Why is this so hard? This should not be so hard. Oh my gosh, look at all of this. Did you hear the one about the hunk of mozzarella who programmed in BASIC? All its variables were strings. And that was today's cheesy joke of the week, brought to you by Bing. Bing. Some ask, why try second best? We ask, why not? Happy Septandy, and welcome to Game Revolutions, the series where I write a 1980s style arcade game for 1980s style hardware, the TRS-80 CoCo. Last time, we had our big boss showing up on the screen, and the shield was rotating different layers at different speeds. Today, we enable our player to shoot and poke holes in that shield and have those holes rotate with the shield, so the player has to keep on shooting and poking until it can get a clear path up to the enemy. So I had what I thought was a fairly straightforward approach to get this to work, but it turned out to be a lot harder than I expected. I left all those hard bits in for your entertainment.
Anyway, that gives you an idea of style. He does it with a nice sense of humor the whole time, but you learn a lot of really cool, hardcore assembly language stuff too. So definitely go check him out. Another one, I was hoping he was here to talk about it a bit more, and that's Frederick, the micro hobbyist. He's got episode 2 of his rebooted series of making a single board 609 based computer, which will eventually actually run Nitrous 9. It'll have an MMU somewhat compatible with Coco 3, so that OS 9 level 2, or Nitrous 9 level 2, I should say, should be a fairly easy port to it. Maybe some different graphics drivers, like depending on what he uses for that. I think at the beginning he's just going to use serial because he's got some serial ports built in. But yeah, he's actually getting the 609 to breathe, as he mentions in the title here, and how to test and make sure that the various lines and stuff are all hooked up and buffers are working and all kind of stuff. And I think he's actually going to try to get some actual running code running on the next episode here. But we kind of followed his progress on the first attempt at this about a year ago before, he got married and got a house and all kinds of things happened. So he's just kind of rebooting the whole series from scratch. And he's got some newer ideas too. So definitely go check that out. Next time he's on the show here, we'll get him on to talk about it in a bit more detail. Next up, we have Foztex, who made a YouTube short video called Jaminature 8-bit demo using FujiNet and OSC keyboard with a Coco 2. So basically what he's doing here is he's got a blog post that probably explains it better than me. So let me just play the video and then I'll switch to his blog and you can see it.
Whenever I want to do musical things with a computer, I always feel like I should have a way to hook up a piano keyboard. The most obvious way is with a MIDI interface, but for this Coco 2, I don't have such a thing. And in addition to a MIDI interface, you'd also need a keyboard with a MIDI interface. What if we could use a FujiNet to interface a keyboard to the Coco 2? Using Open Sound Control or OSC, which works over the network, I can use any phone, tablet, or computer as a keyboard, and then have it connect over the network through the FujiNet to the Coco.
Hope we won't get copyright strike for this one. So anyway,
whenever I want to do musical things,
it's interesting that I think he basically took a tablet and linked it up with the OSC protocol, and he's actually playing the keyboard on the tablet, and it's coming through the Coco speakers running on Coco using the 4-bit or 4 voice 6-bit DAC routines that are quite common. And he kind of goes into more detail here on his blog post, where he found an article in Rainbow actually explained how to do the multi-voice instrumentation. Then he discovered the fun of having PIAs that you have to reprogram inputs and outputs because everything's all on 2 PIAs, including your joysticks. They are through the 2-port that FujiNet needs. Keyboard reading, the sound output, cassette output, everything's just all jammed through these 2 PIAs, and you have to turn bits and pieces on and off, and they start to interfere with each other if you don't do it properly, as Nick and others have explained. Switching between, say, a joystick read and a sound output, because it's actually sharing the same lines on the PIA, so you have to be kind of careful how you do it, otherwise you get little pops and crap in the middle. But a nice extensive explaining how he's doing it here, and I was using the OSC thing, but that's a pretty interesting way of doing things, and I was pretty impressed, to be honest. That got all pulled off with FujiNet running in the background. So props up to both Thomas Terry Holmes and Foztech for doing this. Speaking of music, we've got Brian Blake's done a couple here. He's been fiddling out with, is it Lyra or Lear? Does anybody know what the official pronunciation is? I never asked Lester back in the day. I just bought a copy. Or maybe it was Rich Perry was selling it at the time. I can't remember. But anyway, it's a music editing program for up to 8 voices at once. It's kind of the sequel to Musica. It uses mouse and joystick controls, whereas all previous ones, including Synther 7, Musica, the Composer, Stereo Composer, all use keyboard entries. So this was kind of like using the Mac style interface back in 1985. And it actually had support for MIDI. So you could actually use, like, fairly decent sounding instruments rather than just the 4-voice thing that the Coco 3 or the Coco 1 and 2 normally does for music. And it also originally had support as an optional extra for the Symphony 12 or the Philharmonic 12 that Jim Brain now makes. Now, unfortunately, that particular driver was sold as an afterthought. It wasn't included with Lyra. And unfortunately, that one seems to have gone missing. So if anybody out there listening to this has a copy of the Symphony 12 driver for Lyra, please send it on the Discord or upload it to the Computer Archive. Because there's definitely some people who want to play with it. And especially since Jim now sells a new version of that board, which can do up to 12 voices at once. Anyway, Brian decided to enter in, as you can tell by the title here, it's obviously Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue, which I'm not going to play too much of it up because I know we'll get a copyright strike if we do that. So this first video he's showing here, I believe, is the Coco version, which means it's only going to play the first 4 voices. You probably can sneak up to 6 on a Coco 3 because of the higher clock speed and stuff and still get the same quality, but you won't get the differentiating instruments. So I'll just play a little bit so you can kind of hear what that sounds like. Then I'll play the one he's actually playing through MIDI on an actual Casio keyboard from the Coco. Is that loud enough to hear? Sounds a little quiet to me. Can you guys hear it okay?
We don't hear it at all.
Take a little more if you can.
It's real low.
Okay, I've got it maxed out now, so unfortunately I can't. You have to go listen to it, I guess, on the actual Brian Blake channel on YouTube. So it's doing 4 voices at once. It doesn't sound too bad. Then he decided to hook it up to an actual MIDI. And this is on real Coco, using the Coco MIDI and the Casio keyboard that he happens to have. But now you get differentiation of instruments and stuff too, and all 8 voices enabled.
Here's another short on Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue, moused into Lyra on my TDP 100, played through the Go for Retro MIDI Maestro into my Casio keyboard.
Oh, Brian's saying that Lyra will actually play all 8 voices through a Coco. I didn't know that. I thought it only did 4. Anyway, you can actually hear like piano sounds. Like obviously, you've got much better patches and stuff on the MIDI keyboard. And this is one of the reasons that programs like Ultimuse 3 really took off, or Coco MIDI Pro did, because you can do like 16 voices at once. It doesn't tax the CPU. You can program like drums and bass and cellos and pianos and electric guitars and all kinds of stuff. If anybody's ever been to a CoCoFEST with Brian Schubering around, you've probably heard a lot of this stuff because he's running it through the Coco MIDI hardware as well, including the national anthems that he does at the beginning of every show. And Brian say, yeah, the Home Sweet Home demo he did is actually using 7 of the 8 voices that will play through the Coco, even with software. Musica will only do 4. Okay, I probably got the 2 mixed up. And the Composer I know only does 4 as well, which is earlier than Musica. Next up after that, we have Worm Food. I can't remember what his real name is. He's on the Coco Discord. He's on there quite a bit. I can't remember what his real name is or if he's even revealed it. I don't know if any of you guys remember off the top of your head. But he posted a couple of things onto his GitHub, which are basically hardware from the back in the day for the Coco, including some pretty rare stuff, but also with schematics, manuals, even some code to run them and stuff. And the two that he uploaded this week, the first one's one I had not even heard of, at least not directly by that name, which is the Kantronics Hamsoft interface for the Tandy color computer. So this is a cartridge with a 6522 PIA, and it connected to another board, which was kind of an interface to hook it up to ham radio stuff like CW and RTTY. Ron, you can help me what the heck those are. I don't have no idea.
Yeah, stuff. Can't
Like
explain it quick.
RTTY, I think it's remote terminal teletype or something. along that line.
Radio teletype, and then continuous wave would be Morse code.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Sorry, this was a third-party cartridge, and here's actually one of the originals. And then a picture of the actual schematic or the actual board itself. You can see the 6522 up there. And that would be the ROM to drive it. And there's the backside of the PCB and connectors and stuff. And then he actually made a schematic out of it so you can see how to do it if you want to duplicate it yourself. And then he's got the extra stuff here for, unscrambling the ROM code and getting the ROM code working and stuff like that. So you could actually make a duplicate of this. Now, because this one requires that secondary interface card, I don't know if he's got that yet to figure out how to hook it up, and I don't know how complicated that is. But the other one he uploaded was actually the Burke Coco XT-RTC, which I do have one still. It's in my TC9, though the drive's dead. But with the OS9 boot ROM, and that was actually one I had as well. In fact, you had two boots for if you held on a certain key, I think the Alt key when you booted, you could have two different alternate boots on your hard drive coming from different tracks. And once again, with pictures, and this is the exact same case. I have the gold tinted metal one. I think there's some other ones that were black, etc. And here's the actual board, but this actually has not only the boot ROM, it actually has the real-time clock in it too, which I also had. So that's where I got used to having a real-time clock back in the day. And there you can see where it interfaces with the PC standard XT style hard drive interface board. It worked with a few of them, RML and MFM. And a schematic of how all that works as well too. So it's really good that he's actually recreating schematics and kind of getting all the ROM code dumped off so people can go and modify it or take a look at it. And this was a machine that this is what I ran my TC9 on the entire time. Anybody who was ever at one of the CoCoFESTs or Pen Fest that I brought the TC9 to and you watched it run, that's how I booted it up. I turned it on and it just went. The clock's already set. Boot straight to OS9 as soon as you turned it on. No having to type DOS or any of that stuff. It was quite nice. Next up after that, we have Keith Frechette, and he posted an update to his SAL, which stands for Structured Assembly Language Translator, to the Coco Facebook group. And he describes what SAL is. So basically, SAL, from my understanding, is from reading his post here, is a more modern assembler that basically uses something of the equivalent of macros to do some things. You can do like if, else, and while, and a bunch of loop structures and stuff as pseudo assembly, and the assembler itself will create the code to actually do all the actual loops and stuff. So it simplifies the programming somewhat. And he's working on one here that will actually convert something from one of these more advanced assemblers back down to the old style assembler. So you can actually take stuff written for a more modern assembler for the Coco or the 6809 or 6309, and then run this utility on it. And it will convert it down to something like EdTasm could use. Basically, expanding out all the macro type stuff. So that's pretty cool. Now he's not done. He just says I'm making good progress on it. So when I started this project, I was initially thinking of keeping a simple allowing assembly code to be marked up with, if, else, if, end, if, do, while, and while, etc. Repeat until. Making the SAL components really stand out from the standard assembly language code. That's a fairly common approach for SAL translators. However, to make things more natural for those of us who enjoy C-based languages, of which C# is my current favorite, I've experimented with going much further than the aforementioned control blocks. My goal is to enable the full control of traditional assembly language with the expressiveness of a C-based language. Still in its infancy, and he's open to input. And he mentioned here he'd like to solicit input on just how C-like we'd like to go. Included are two screenshots. In the first, I've stuck with the use of the semicolon to start single-line comments, and I've used end if to end my if control blocks rather than the using braces. So if any of you are interested in this kind of translation between assembly languages and you want to kind of get it on the ground floor, of helping design how he's actually going to implement it. He's got some different examples here. And he's looking for comment suggestions. So if you're on Facebook in the Coco group, look up his post. The show notes have the link directly to this particular post, which you can get from the Discord or from the listserv tomorrow. Please hit it up and give him some feedback. Next to that, Thomas Cherryholmes, of course, the person behind FujiNet. He posted in the Coco group, Facebook group, and in other groups as well, about an upcoming article that he's currently writing for the newly relaunched Compute magazine, which has confused a lot of people because I think it's called the Compute Gazette, and originally that was a Commodore 64 only one, and the new one is actually for all retros, so you know, a little bit of branding weirdness there. But he's writing an article basically on how to show how to use FujiNet to move files between FujiNet on your retro machine and a PC using multiple methods he goes through. He mentions here like WebDAV, TNFS, SMB, and physical SD cards. So he's showing you how to get the files back and forth between your main PCs and your retro machine, whatever happens to be. And I think he includes the Coco in that. So you can check out that post. And then he also put on this one just, I think, yesterday, or maybe it was even this morning, about reorganizing the structure of the folders, etc., for the FujiNet servers for serving up Coco content, because he basically just downloads stuff off the archive and then unzipped it all, and it created folders for each individual one. But it makes it hard to do filters and searches for finding stuff on that there when you've got literally thousands of programs and folders there. So he's got a proposal. He wrote a little script to go through and fix up about 90% to what he liked, and then there was 10% he had to kind of manually manipulate a little bit. But he's wants some feedback there too, and possibly maybe to have at least a version or maybe change the way that some of the Coco archive stuff is organized to help that filter search work a lot better. And he demonstrates some of this in the video. So this is another one where he's kind of eliciting for feedback, and this is on the TSCHAK909 channel on YouTube. So if you want to give a look at what he's proposing there and then give your feedback on it, you can do it as a YouTube comment, or I'm sure you can write to him in Facebook. And he's got his own Discord for FujiNet and stuff too, and he's also active in the Coco Discord. So if you put something in the FujiNet channel on our Discord, I'm sure he'll find it too. So, but he's definitely looking for feedback. So anybody who gets a chance to try that, please give him some. Next step we have, this came from the Capixaba, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. My apologies for my butchering it. Computer Museum in Brazil. And he posted the Coco Facebook group that September 23rd was the 40th anniversary of the release of the ProLogica CP400 Color Computer 2, which is pictured right here. So the original Coco 1 clone came out a little bit earlier. It's just a CP400 Color. And they had the kind of the chiclet keyboard, kind of like the Coco 1 style. The CP400 2 has a much better keyboard with bigger keys, not chiclet style. And basically a more modernized looking case. So this came out a little bit later. It was kind of like the Coco 1 to Coco 2 type thing, where we also got an improved keyboard, smaller case, etc. type thing. So it's kind of interesting that, September 23rd, 1985 was the very first appearance of the CP400 Color 2 during the 5th International Computer Fair. So a bit of history there. Next up after that, we've got Joel E.V. He's posted an updated version of his 3D printer file. We covered this last week. He basically made the little door clips for the CM8, which is the thing that breaks the most often. That's why the door never stays on the darn thing. So he put a proposed 3D print file up for that last week, but it didn't quite fit right. This one here, he's tweaked it a little bit. He said it's still not perfect, but I now have my MC8. So he's actually put up a little photo. And the one on the left here is the one that needs to be replaced. And this is a stock one on the right. And this is the part that usually breaks off the little clip there. So now that you can do this 3D printer, or you have a friend that has a 3D printer, you can actually print it out and fix the CM8 door if you still have it, and actually have it so it stays on the darn monitor like it should have. So thanks much for doing that, Joel. I think he's also taking feedback, or if anybody else wants to tweak it to try to get it even more perfect to match the original one from Tandy. He said, please send the updated file, whatever, and I'll make sure it gets distributed. But at least now you can repair the door. Next up that, we've kind of covered John Pappas gave an update of his Coco 3 laptop. He's got pictures here from the Coco 2 one, and this is kind of making a Coco into a portable, so it comes with its own screen. Now this requires, in his case, modified cases and stuff that he's designed himself. And these are not going to be commercial products. This is something he's doing. It's just kind of, for his own enjoyment type thing. I don't know if he's planning on, uploading files so that other people can use this and tweak it. But he's working on a Coco 3 one, and one of the changes he's planning now in the Coco 3 from the original stuff we talked about the last couple of weeks is he's going to change the Coco 3 to have a huge 14-inch color display built in. And I think these current ones are quite a bit smaller than that. So that's a pretty decent size. I mean, the original CM8 was a 13-inch diagonal, so it's bigger than a CM8 technically. So I'm really looking forward to see what that looks like. And this is something I wish that I really hope that he releases the files for, because I think some people would actually take the time to make this. And of course, we've got Porta Coco as well, where you can take an unmodified Coco 3 and clipping stuff on there where you don't have to modify the case in any way, but you can add the battery, you can add the LCD, and you can add wireless support too. So you have a couple options. But this one here will not be a product you can buy off like an e-site. Next up, we have Jace Fuse has done another update, little YouTube short, which I'll play the whole thing because it's only a minute long. Working on the Amiga port of Dungeons of Daggorath and some of the design choices that he's making, and a little bit of the history of the Coco one as well. So I'll just play that.
So it would appear the only way I'm able to get some short videos made is by making shorts, because if I do a full regular video, I'm going to ramble on forever. So let's keep this really, really short. I have been working on Dungeons of Daggorath. I have not completely disregarded it for the past few days. However, I have not made a whole lot of progress. I have managed to completely pull in all of the vectors for the characters so I can draw all of the letters. Still not happy with the aspect ratio though. Something about converting it from 192 pixels wide to 320 really changes it. So I'm going to tweak that a bit. And I think one thing I'm going to do is make it a 40 column display instead of a, was it 36 or 38, whatever the original was. Kind of make it fit a little better on the Amiga's screen more naturally. I am probably going to add a couple of extra lines on the console because, well, I have the extra screen space, plus it would be nice to be able to see a little bit further back. I'm not going to change the verbiage a whole lot. I really don't want very many changes to be reflected from the original game. Like, I want it to be as close to one-to-one as possible. So I'm not going to probably add, like, any extra feedback, like if you attack something. You know, the original game would show like 3 exclamation marks whenever you hit. And I think I want to keep that. I don't want to show any like damage, because not knowing how much damage you did was kind of part of the charm of the original game. So things like that are going to probably remain the same. I might enhance the graphics later on, but originally I want to keep the original line graphics.
Anyway, that's a little bit longer than I remembered from before, so I won't play the whole thing. But if you want to check out the rest of his little update there, that's about half of it. And once again, you can get the link from the show notes. Next about that's another YouTube short. This is from NS Diguro Lamp, I think. Showing a Coco 1 loading a small program from cassette complete with the sound. So if you've never heard the Coco cassette, because some people didn't get into Cocos until they had disk drives, etc., or only had cartridges, that sweet, sweet 1500 baud sound, you'll be able to hear it here. And just loading a quick little bass program, I'll just play it just for nostalgia's sake, just until the cassette noise starts. And then I'll stop it, because that's why I switch to disk drives. So I don't know if that fills me with nostalgia or PTSD. It's one of the two.
Just keep making that sound, baby. Keep making that sound.
I mean, I use cassette. Yeah. I remember I learned some of the cassette sounds so much that when that smooth 4-voice music routine that like Donkey King and Sailor Man and Sea Dragon all used, I could actually tell where in the tape it was because I'd hear the certain sequence repeated. Right. I was a bit too nerdy, I think. Next up, Z4RT4N, or Zartan spelt cool boy style on YouTube. We've covered some of this stuff before, but he actually shows loading Time Quest in a Coco 3 using the Coco STC. Time Quest is an AGI based game, which is the engine that the Sierra games used for the Coco 3 era, plus other machines like Apple IIs, etc. too. But Gwen Major, the person that runs the actual Color Computer Archive, actually took the engine, I think, from King's Quest 3, which is a little bit later than one Leadership Larry had, and basically backported every single AGI game he could find, which is all in the archive, and also included all in Nitrous 9, plus a bunch of home developed ones. because people have actually taken an engine, figured out how it worked, and they written editors and stuff on modern PCs, so you can create your own Sierra Online style game and the graphics for it and the puzzles and everything else, and you can make your own. And a lot of people have been doing that. I think this one is one of those. So I'll just play a little bit. It's a 3-minute video. I'm just gonna play a little bit to show him loading it up.
So since I don't think it's very self-explanatory, I'm going to show you how to load a game from the Coco SDC by Retro Rewind. This is the Tandy Color Computer 3. When you put it in, this is the main menu. I could never get this to work as far as like, you go on a joystick and you try to select something, it just doesn't work. So get out of that. Get into your home screen here.
I'm not sure why it wouldn't load directly, because I loaded directly.
He hasn't learned the left-right arrows yet, just up and down.
This is all the Sierra games that are on here. Every game is on here. All the cartridge games, everything. We're going to go into TQ, which is Time Quest, which is a cool little...
I do like some of the comments in the chat here. So talking about cassette here, Mikey says, I missed that sound, followed immediately by me, Aaron, saying, man, I don't miss cassette loading at all.
And then you want to click drive, see it's loaded onto drive 0. Hit DOS like you would anything that was in your FD502.
I want to be scandalized. I just came extra arrived. Sorry.
Here we go.
I got an SDC from Retro Rewind, and I haven't used it yet.
And I have a nice little thing to let me use an Atari joystick.
So I just showed you how easy it is to load. Now, if you want access to all the Sierra games, just download Nitrous 9EOU, because all of them are pre-installed. So you just boot up the hard drive, and just run
nice.
G shell. You navigate to the games folder, and you can have an icon for every single one of the Sierra games that have been ported. So, Frederick, we already covered your part 2 video a little bit, but you weren't here to comment on it. So did you want to kind of just do a quick summary of what you covered in episode 2?
A quick summary was all about basically it's I just strengthened the bus with the buffers on the breadboard, and added a different reset circuit. The difference between the old one and the new one that I always used in the past is this one. It monitors a clock signal. So if it does not receive a clock signal, it resets. And the reason why I want that is I'm going to do a software selectable clock. And if for some reason it fails, then it's going to reset the system. So you don't have any, you won't be surprised. Anyways, if the clock stops, your system is screwed up anyways. So I might as well reset it. And so I also basically did a virtual NOP tester on top of that. So that ways I could have some sort of a baseline for the Arduino Mega to become an actual, how should I say, logic analyzer, if you will, because next episode it's all about programmable logic devices. I'm not going to use your regular run-of-the-mill Jelly Bean chips, the 74 series, because I want to save board space, because I'm going to have a lot of stuff on this thing. And already I had comments about the buffer saying you should use LS, not HCT. Well, okay, we'll see. But besides that, that's basically what you see right now on screen is what I did. I didn't want to go overboard. I put some damping resistors because, well, they suggested anyways on the data sheet because there's to try to cut down on the ringing on the hard edge on the edges, because if the edges are too sharp, you automatically get ringing, and so those help. It takes up a lot of board space just for that, and but hopefully things are going to be really smooth from now on, except for one PLD where I'm really going to scratch my head on how to do the software selectable clock on a PLD, and also control the ROM disable for the shadow copy. And I did something else also. I just forget. I don't have it in my mind right now. But yeah, so basically that's it. All of this with a bit of dad joke, crappy humor. Hopefully some people found it a bit funny. So it's
that's something the retro community is quite famous for. So you fit right in.
And of course, at the end, I have my classical
blooper reel.
Blooper reel, exactly. I don't take myself seriously, so I know a lot of people don't want to show blooper reels because it shows their Their true selves, well, now you can see my true selves messing up constantly. Even though I have a nice text in front of me, I keep messing up. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
you, right? What? But the thing is ever since I started with a prompter, I'm actually a lot better now than I was like the first time around, and that's like 3 episodes, right? And I'm getting better and better at it. And relatively speaking, I mean, depends who you talk to and who listens. But compared to my first shows that I did like years ago, it's a world of improvement. And I don't know why I didn't think of using a prompter way before. And composing the text also is a challenge. Not that it's hard. It's just that try to get some humor in there where it's relevant to the actual stuff that I'm doing, and so that's not obvious. But I try to get a point of because I'm trying to vulgarize things to make things simple for those that are not very hardware oriented to those that are more experimented in the hobby itself. So hopefully I get my point across. And I got, for example, a comment. Well, you shouldn't use one because I did at the end some Arduino programming, and I haven't done Arduino programming in ages. I'd say probably since the start of the pandemic. So it's been a while. So I had to relearn a bit of Arduino in there, and I know that the digital write is not the fastest, but I mean I was running at what 100 hertz, so didn't really care for that. But I got a comment in in the chat saying, "Well, you actually should probably not use that." Yeah, I agree. Next show, maybe.
Yeah.
One difficulty level at a time. Because if I start showing assembler in Arduino IDE, I mean, I'm going to lose people.
By the way, Mikey6NL, Michael Furman in the chat has mentioned we don't need no stinking script. We just ad lib and heckle.
Right.
Oh no, you don't want. Well, I don't want to do that because if we're doing in a show like this, that's fine, right? We're having a chat.
Oh, that is the whole show. I mean, that's what I do every week.
but I mean, if I do it myself, all by my lonesome, I tend to ramble, and if I try to use that for doing an edit, it's like a mess. I don't know where to start editing because I have to cut here, cut there. It makes no sense if I don't have some sort of direction.
Yeah, I have that same problem because as you guys have probably noticed here, if I'm not on the show runs 2 to 3 hours. If I'm on the show, it's usually 4 to 5. I don't think that's coincidence.
Yeah, but at least you have consistency. I don't. I just ramble.
I'm consistently long-winded and chatty.
I'm with you. If you've got a script, you've got to stick to the script, boy. You don't go back in editing and go, I've got a 3-hour
I have tried
video
that
here.
in my case, but if I have a script, I'll read part of it and then go, I should expand on that in my own head. And then I just start blathering anyway. So
but you're doing more of an extemporaneous show. You need to expand on it.
Yeah.
Where if he's trying to describe a process, you need to stick to the steps.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to do because I want to wander off into why this step is this way.
I think that's why Richard Lobieski was so happy when Bob Emery did the video for him on some of the Boyson Tech stuff.
And also, you got to take into consideration that the attention span on the internet is not very high. For live is one thing, but when you're doing a video, and I tried to keep it under 15 minutes, but I couldn't. There was way too much to say, and there's not that much content. You saw the schematic, CPU resets and buffers, and that's it. That was it. 25 minutes.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I also like Amigo Aaron's comment in the chat. He goes, "What's a script?" If you want to watch their shows, there's no script. It's basically him bashing his brother and his brother bashing him back, and totally improv.
Yeah, it's a good thing that I like doing editing because otherwise
he's asking now, what's editing?
Well, remember in my first episode, I said, "What is this editing thing?" When my alternate ego just came in the screen, but it's a 10-to-1 ratio of actual doing the stuff and editing. It's god awful. I have to find a way to do it faster because I'm not going to go.
From talking to a lot of the YouTubers, I mean, editing takes longer than writing the script and recording and everything else.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which is why I just don't bother because I'm lazy.
Well, if I was any good at improv, that I'd say I'd go for it, but I'm not. I'm terrible at it.
Hey, Fred.
Yeah.
Do you think that AI is gathering data on your voice so that sometime I can have a little, thing I can do with your voice?
That's already happened.
Has it? I mean, with a friend, that's,
Well, funny you should mention that is, the first series of the 6309 I did a year and a half ago. One of the videos, if you note, the voice is completely different. And I've been accused of saying, well, you've used AI. No, it's my 5 o'clock in the morning voice where my vocal cords are still
before you
together.
had coffee.
So yes, today I'm going to do this type of thing and whatnot. And then you have the intro, which is lighter and doesn't match at all.
Hi, it's near midnight and I am talking like this.
Anyway, I got to get back to the news here because I do have a heart out. So
Let's go ahead.
Oh, you did mention that.
Yeah. So before I get into 8-Bits in the Basement and his next blog post on Super Shooty Aliens, I just want to mention we were talking about the CoCo list earlier where Exile in Paradise posts the show notes on Sundays. So there was a big message from Dennis Bathory-Kitz. Now, you probably know him as the host and creator of the CoCo list, but he's also the person that created the Color Quaver multi-voice software. He did Undercolor magazine back in the day. He did the original lower kit hardware. He's done a ton of stuff, hardware and software. He's done stuff for the Model 1 and 3, the CoCo, and a bunch of other things. He's also an opera composer. He's actually had some of his music played overseas in Europe that he flew over to help, direct, etc. And he's done a ton of stuff. He's quite good at a whole bunch of things. He's a real jack of all trades. But he posts on the CoCo list here. He said, after all these years, this message comes an hour ago from Pair Networks, where I lease my server for the listserv. And it says, several years ago, we began phasing out the Pair list service by disabling new list creation. Today, we're announcing its final end-of-life date, January 1st, 2026, so just 3 months away. You're receiving this notice because your Pair Networks hosting account still has an active Pair list, which is the CoCo list. Over time, the free Pair list mailing list program based on GNU Mailman has become unreliable as most mail hosts now require strict email validation standards like SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Pair lists cannot support these features, causing messages to be delayed, marked as spam, or rejected. Because of this declining reliability, we believe the service no longer meets our standards and will be discontinued. Pair list has served our users well for many years, and in fact, it's 20 plus years that Dennis has been hosting the list through them. While we are sad to retire it, we are exploring a more reliable replacement service in the future. I will download, and then Dennis himself, after that comment from Pairless itself, says, I will download all the content and make it available as a password-protected page. At some point when I have time, that is. If you like, you can sign into the list with your credentials and download the gzipped archives yourselves, about 270 files monthly from October 2003 to the present. In the meantime, and while I wait to hear from Pair about their suggestions for migration, CoCo Group suggestions for migration are welcome. There's been several responses on the CoCo list already. There's been people suggesting there's a Google Groups thing that almost nobody ever uses. So if nobody's ever using it, I don't know if that's a really good one to use. And there are a few other suggestions too. There's talk about, I think Alan Hupp was saying about why don't we just create and host our own thing, and Dennis wasn't going to want to go through all that hassle, I guess. Do you guys have any suggestions here that we can pass on to Dennis? You were saying, Mark?
This is the type of thing. Group.io is another group thing that I'm on. Actually, this is the type of thing that I thought that maybe the CoCoNation as a 501c3 would take on, is doing this sort of stuff. Basically taking that money that we get and applying it to hosting and doing that sort of stuff. So it becomes a group thing that has an organization behind it rather than just an individual.
Okay. And do you think that would be advantageous over, oh, sorry, it's Groups.io, not Google Groups. Is,
Yeah,
I think
sorry,
you and
Groups,
Excel Paradise.
Groups.io.
Yeah. Is there an advantage to doing it that way versus using a group that already exists type thing, or?
Well, it's been my experience in the past 30 years that those things seem to come and go. I don't know, maybe Groups.io is going to hang around longer than the others have, but
Yeah, Google's
know,
famous for
essentially.
dropping projects when they get popular, like say their rival to
Ex-
Facebook was a few years back.
Hmm.
What about
Exactly.
Discord?
Mm,
Discord doesn't really
yeah.
keep things permanent.
It's there,
I
but it's
guess.
harder to get. It's not so freeform though. It's
Like to get the current one, all you need is an email client. You can run the oldest machine on the planet as long as it can still talk with email. Whereas Discord keeps updating their software to the point where I'm already getting warnings, but my Mac OS is not going to work for much longer.
Mikey says that Mailman is not that hard to manage. Yeah, exactly. It's like get a server space, set up the thing, keep the mailing list going for people, same way it always been, and have it under
Yeah,
control.
Next Out Paradise is saying a lot of people don't like Discord or want to be on it. I've hit that myself.
That's fine too. So, anyway, there's no reason not to have it, and there's no reason not to. You know, I mean, I don't know what sort of resources that that the list currently uses, but I can't imagine most of it would be disk space. It doesn't have to be that fast, I would think.
No, and
because,
people
you know,
don't upload pictures and stuff there. It's mostly just text, so it should be quite small.
Yeah, it should be quite small, should be quite lightweight. So it's just storage space.
So does the CoCoNation executive want to like have a bit of a meeting and see if they want to take it over from Dennis or offer to take it over from Dennis or something?
Yes, I would like to. I'll propose that.
Okay. Cool.
It's been kind of in the background. This is my thing about, you know, maintaining stuff for the future, getting people to have a plan and all that. So anyway.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so back to the regular news now. So APS in the Basement has released vlog number 4, alien movement and collision detection, and working pretty good. He says not perfect yet, and he actually was doing some testing, so he threw in some code which actually was causing this demo to crash once in a while. It didn't during his recording here, but he mentioned that before he put the test code, it was running much more reliably. I'm getting some audio feedback from, I think, Wingnut. I don't know if he knows he's live streaming audio right now. Hopefully he can mute it, but because otherwise we'll be listening to everything he's talking about. Anyway, I'll play a little bit of this and kind of fast forward a little bit too to show you the progress he's made. He's got some alien ships flying around. He starts experimenting. Well, how many can I put in before it slows down too much?
How you doing, everyone? Greetings and welcome back to part 4 of this vlog, creating super shooty aliens, little space shooter game for the Dragon and the Coco. So as far as we gotten last week was I had prettified my little spaceship and I had put some kind of flashy pixels on the back of it to make it look like it had some kind of futuristic space age engines driving it through space. The other thing we have is a little guy who'll come out of the ship on each side of the screen, and we have bullets spraying all over the place. Now I've kept the high rate of fire because I want to stress this thing as much as I can while I'm testing and writing the game to see about slowdown and kind of how fast we're running, more or less. You may notice that I've changed the color of the starfield in the background. I went from red and blue to yellow and white because it's kind of more contrast with the black backgrounds. I thought it stood out better, so that was one little aesthetical. But I have kind of done so far, can move around and whatnot, and I kind of kept going to see how many I could do, and well, the thing is working quite well. Now I decided to see how many I could potentially get on screen, and this here is one of the final tests I did because I figured there would never be any more than 20 on screen at a time. So what we have here are 25 little aliens on screen, and there is a slight little bit of slowdown when these guys come on screen, but it's actually not a problem because I have everything kind of timed with clocks. So our player movement here is restricted by a little clock, and I found that if I increase the speed of that clock, this guy will move away much faster without any slowdown of anything else on screen. So what I need to do is I need to tweak this in such a way that I've got a little alien on screen counter, and every time there are like 4 aliens on screen extra, it'll increase this little player movement clock, and that way there's no perceptible slowdown. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've managed to do. Now let me just tell you about this routine I've written to put the aliens on screen. I can have full control over it. I can put as many as I want on screen. I can start them wherever I want on screen. I can end them wherever I want on screen. When I end it, I can make them disappear off screen, or I can kind of reset them back to where they were originally. Also, I can change the race off screen immediately. So I've got collision detection going now as well. So we've got this kind of thing.
He goes through to kind of demonstrate some of the things he's working on for the collision detection stuff. He's also talks about some design things he's specifically doing and some changes to how the game is going to actually work for the player as opposed to from the assembler perspective. So it's been progressing quite fast. I think it sounded like he was even impressed at how many aliens he got on the screen at once without really slowing the things down, because he's kind of frame locking, like he mentioned, the player ships, etc. So it's not tearing. But it's coming along quite good. He's been kind of cranking out the update once a week here, and he's making quite a bit of progress. Even got some comments from Coco Town, a rival blogger for doing a video game on the Coco. Next up, as I mentioned earlier, Tandy Assembly is actually running. It started yesterday. They've been doing presentations here. Jim Brain put this one up on the Tandy Assembly site, explaining how to expand the Coco memory management unit that's built into the GIME to go beyond 512K. He gets into the deep weeds here of explaining exactly how the memory works, etc. And I had a chance to watch the very beginning of it, but I haven't had a chance to finish it. So, but it looks pretty technical, as most of Jim's stuff would be. He knows what he's doing. And this one I'll play the entirety because it's kind of an ad. We've been covering the upcoming MC10 game that Ron Delvaux is one of the secret agents in. Mm-hmm. And Ron, have you seen this particular one yet? Do you know? Or?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, so this
in
is
fact, I've been warned that something may be coming in the mail.
So basically, this is kind of it's kind of an ad, but at the same time, it's also kind of like a teaser into the game and what the game's going to be about. And he's doing these like kind of theatrical trailers, and I quite like this. This is quite a fun way, I think, to promote an upcoming game for the MC10. So it's 2.5 minutes. I'll play the thing in its entirety. I like the mood sounds in the background too.
My name, Lena. What is Lena? It's in my head. I don't know. They wait for you. They say to welcome you. We do. All of us will welcome you. Hands, no, not hands. Something else. Touching or listening. I feel strange, not mine. Mine? You. Can you hear voices? Mine, not mine. They said, don't be afraid. Afraid of what? I can't remember. Or is it now? Oh, the sky, it's purple.
I thought that was a really cool way of doing a teaser for a game. I like the fact he's taken all this extra effort to do this kind of thing. We've been pretty impressed with packaging from him on the previous MC10 game. Of course, Nick has done excellent packaging for his games, as have multiple other people. But I don't think, other than maybe Bruce Moore, has ever gone to the point of actually like making like little movie style clips and stuff like that of, kind of what the game background's going to be about. So I'm quite impressed. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Have you got any further details there, Agent Ron?
No, all I got was the email that said, will you be around in the next week or two to receive a package? And I said, oh yeah, absolutely.
As long as I avoid a bus.
Yeah. And Amigos Retro Gaming, I don't think you guys have done an ARG Presents on the MC10. You might want to time it for when this game comes out, so you'll have a brand new one to show off on the show. Anyway, that's it for the regular news. Now I'm going to switch to the Game On news quickly. Share. Okay, so number one, we've covered basic Pac-Man from CoCoSynthesis before. It's basically a Coco 3 version of Pac-Man, done in basic. Hence the name. He's released a version 2 now, so this includes a little bit of optimization. The game itself plays a little bit faster because basic is not that quick, and this is not compiled. This is raw basic. But the other thing he added is actually the level editor, and you can fit up to 15 of these in a disk from the looks of it. And it's got all the different tiles, and you can change the colors of the background, etc. too. So I'll play a little bit of this and probably skip a little bit of it just so you can see some highlights, but definitely check out the whole video. And maybe I'll mute the sound here. So here's the Maze Manager, which is one of the main new features of version 2, where you can actually create your own mazes, and it comes with, I think, 8 built in or something like that on the current version 2.
That's always a cool feature. Do your own maze.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's 8 to come with it, and you can see some of the tiles on the far right. You can also see that you can change some of the colors. And here's drawing it out as it's reading it from disk.
Now we just need to run it through Glen basic compiler.
And I've seen, like, Nick has created these types of letters for his games too. He just writes a quick little basic program, and then he overclocks the crap out of it in VCC or whatever, and then it's like a real-time editor type thing. So that's the editor. And then there's some like different mazes and stuff that they created, and you're placing dots, or like this is an interesting one. You got this whole patch of dots on the top in an open area, and then these little corners you got to navigate in the bottom. And then he shows a demonstration of the game running itself. And, you know, this is basic. There's no gimme X involved for overclocking or anything. And it's playable. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like, you know, arcade speed, but not bad for basic. And actually, it looks pretty good. I think there might be sound effects here. No, it's just playing the music playing. I mean, you definitely go check that out. And I think he's got the link. Yeah, if you go to the YouTube link that I put in the show, you can go straight to his GitHub and grab the newest version 2, which is over here, and that's the show link as well. Source code is a separate zip if you want to just get the source code in basic itself. The disk itself obviously has the basic program on it, so you can just load that or the Maze Editor program to take a look there. Another new game that got released this week from Davy's Retro Corner, and Davey was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he still is at the moment. But that's Davey Mitchell from across the pond. He's a dragon guy. And he's released a new game called Glutton. And this is based on another game called Greed, which I'm not that familiar with. So he's got a blog post here kind of explaining it. And then he's got a link to a YouTube video, which I'll show a little bit of here. Based on Greed by M. Day. And this is his first version 1. It's keyboard controls, as you can see here on the help screen. So when you hit a numbered square, you jump that many steps in that direction. You must stay in the board and cannot step on a square twice. Keep playing until you cannot make a move. So it's kind of a puzzle arcade hybrid game. I'm assuming this is completely randomly generated. I don't think it makes sure it's a solvable one, but. So there you saw he hit like a 9 and he, you know, went 9 in that particular direction. So basically it's a little bit of planning to figure out which is the most optimal way to try to clear as many as possible.
Oh, I thought that thing was printing out my tax return.
Maybe it's calculating pi to 512 places. I don't know.
Oh, so you get to pick which way, but not how far. The one you're
the number dictates how far you're going to go that way. So if you go left and you hit a 4, you're going to go 4 spaces past that.
Some direction. Okay.
So it's an interesting concept. I hadn't heard of the original game, but it's kind of cool. We got the port that should work on the Dragon 3264 or the Coco 123, CP 400, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Well, thanks, Davey, for making that one. Sheldon McDonald, we covered last week that he was doing one that actually is an option for using the SID chip that him and Brendan Donahue are going to be selling. And you can even do stereo SID, although that particular game I don't think does that. And that's the bike race game we showed off. But it will actually use like background music and stuff from the SID chip, which of course is the sound chip inside the C64. He's updated here with a bug fix, which you can now download from the Facebook Coco group. And there's two versions included. So bike.bin is for those using an MPI, a multipack interface of some sort. It could be Zipsters, it could be Orion Technology, it could be Tandys, whatever. And the Coco X SID, which it only needs one for the mono. So that'll actually play the background music, etc. And then you got Mike NOS bin, which is basically if you just have a regular floppy drive or a Coco SDC and that's it, that'll allow you to play the game just without all the fancy music chip stuff. So you don't require it to have the SID chip thing, but if you have it, you will get, you know, multi-voice background music playing while you're playing the game. And it's written in machine language, so it's actually quite fast. It looked quite fun from what we saw last week. Next up, that Paul Slocum mentions that he decided to play Dungeons and Dragons for the first time in a long time on real hardware, but he needed a way to save the game. He no longer has a cassette drive, so he actually basically is using Audacity on a modern PC or Mac or Linux box or whatever, records it into there, and then it loads back in when he needs to, you know, restore after he inevitably dies. And that's a good use of Audacity in the PC, I think, because that actually worked quite well for him. So, and you actually can watch the waveform of your save game and your load game actually live on screen while you're loading or saving it, which is cool.
Audacity is a good piece of software.
Yeah, I use it quite often. Go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say you can record an entire tape and then go back and chop off the programs in little chunks. Just run the tape through, get back on the PC and click. I got all of my old tapes back that way.
Yeah, Nick and I have done a lot of audio samples for games and stuff, actually using Audacity to record something, and then you drop it down to mono and 8-bit and, you know, 8 kilohertz or something that Coco can handle natively. In fact, I use that if you guys play the old Coco Talk theme on EOU, which is a 2 meg long sound file. That was done using Audacity to get it to fit a 2-minute full song. Next, that Expertech returned to do some videos on his real Coco 2 with an amber screen monitor. And this particular time he played skiing. And this is the original, one of the launch titles basically for the Coco. It was written by Robert Kilgus in 1980. It's 3D with hills and the whole bit. Like for the time this came out, this was hyper advanced. I don't think anything on any other platform touched it for 3D. There is a hacked version that's on the site, the Color Computer Archive site now, that kind of changes the background palettes to black and stuff like that and makes it look like night driving. That totally defeats the purpose of skiing. Skiing's in snow, dummy, like leave it white.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't understand why they did that particular one. It made the game worse, honestly.
Right, the poles are brown because there's snow in your face. Yeah.
Yeah. Must be spring skiing, I guess, at night. I mean, I'm sure most of you have seen that, so I won't play in the video for this particular one. Retro Gaming Loft, as part of their Septandy, decided to cover a long play of Space Assault, which, of course, is the Tandy released program by the image producers, Space Invaders clone. Unlike the arcade game, it does have some options, mainly beginner or expert. It also has analog controls, so the position of your joystick horizontally on a free-floating analog joystick is your position relative on the screen. So if you're 2/3 of the way across, your ship's going to be 2/3 of the way across. There is some momentum to get between them. If you jam the joystick hard left or hard right, it'll take a second or two to get there. It's not instantaneous. It also has the option of the expert one where the invaders start a little bit lower and there's no bunkers to protect you. You're just right in the firing line right off the bat. So it wasn't a bad game. I definitely have seen worse ones in other machines at the time period this came out, but it wasn't the best either. Next up, Retro Gaming Loft also covered a long play of Crazy Painter, originally by the Cornsoft group. Same guys who did the official Frog report for the Coco. And since this happens to be the Dragon 64 version, Dragon 3264 version of the game, it's actually in P Mode 3, so no artifact colors, but it still works quite well. The Coco version actually did use artifact colors, so you'll get a black background, etc. But it still looks quite good, and it features a bit of multi-voice music in spots, and as you progress through different levels, it keeps adding new elements to the game. So there's, you keep exploring to see what new gets added later on. And it's quite a fun little game. It's even got a little bonus stage where you have to like take a squeegee and wipe paint that's dripping all down the screen, which I remember we did during the Game On Challenge when we did it some time ago. If you've never seen the game, though, definitely go check it out. Next up, and we've actually got Amigo Aaron in the house in the chat here. So he did a live stream last night for 2.5 hours, basically doing a tribute to Steve Bjork's games, covering all the way back to Popcorn, which I believe is the first Coco game he did. And then he did Audio Spectrum Analyzer kind of near the same time. He did do some utility stuff even before that. He did Sex, which is kind of a play on words because it's spelled S-E-C-S, not S-E-X, which is a screen editor that would actually run in a 4K Coco, a full screen editor. And some other utilities for Datasoft. And of course, he did multiple stuff for Datasoft that then were licensed to Tandy, like Sands of Egypt and, well, Popcorn's another one, Clowns and Balloons and others. He also ghost wrote some things. He actually did most of the program with the Coco with Datasoft, and basically kind of shared credits sometimes as a co-writer on the credits and sometimes as a ghost, just helping them out, some of the other programmers there. And
Because
went through and covered... Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of the studios only allowed one name on the credits. And so...
Yeah, Datasoft wasn't too strict on that, though, because like Sands of Egypt has 3 of them, Ralph Burris, and...
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how that worked, to be honest. Actually, if Mark Siegel's in the chat, he might know better, since he was Steve's boss at Datasoft at the time. And then, of course, Steve went off on his own, did SRB software, and they started, selling stuff directly to Tandy, including stuff like Rampage, which is an official port of Arkanoid, and Desert Rider, which was co-produced with the a Color Computer Users Group in California, near where Steve lived. And of course, after he also wrote Model 1 and 3 games even before he got into Coco, starting in '78. He did the light pen interface for Model 1. He designed the high-res joystick interface for the Coco. And then he got into stuff like Nintendos and stuff later on. He published a magazine for a while, and then he was doing Haunt Hackers and stuff, up until his passing. So he was very involved in the retro community. He was very involved in computers, current and in various aspects of it. And it was sad that we lost him recently. Next to that, as part of Septandy, David Craker, who also I believe was in the chat earlier, don't know if he still is, and one of the principals at in the Winnipeg Retro Club there that meets 4 times a year. But he decided to throw in a little play of Eliza, the old artificial intelligence game. And the version that he has here has actually been modified to use the spell and speech pack. So actually, Eliza will talk back to you in almost intelligible speech. And you can interact with the computer there and talk if you have any psychological problems. Not a real doctor, don't take its advice literally. And then after that, we've got Wisco Tango Foxtrot on YouTube, which has been doing a couple of game playthrough things for Septandy. One of the ones they put up this time was Coco Zone Part 2. Coco Zone was a Rainbow Adventure Contest winner. It's a graphical adventure game. The graphic drawing and stuff and the main game code is in BASIC. The character generator for your parser for typing your text commands and describing the room in text is all machine language, so it runs at a pretty good clip. You can watch it draw the scenes, but the text is pretty well instantaneous. And of course, it's based a little bit on the Twilight Zone TV show, of course, with Rod Serling. And this is part 2, so he played it for another hour, and apparently he live streams these on Twitch. I haven't actually checked his Twitch channel and caught it live. And I don't think he finished it in this one. I didn't get a chance to watch it to the end, but I don't think he quite finished it, so there's probably a part 3 coming. In fact, I think if I remember at the very end, he's kind of looking through the source code to try to figure out how to solve one puzzle he can't figure out, which is exactly how I would have done it. And then he did another video here, which is another stream that he did. And this was kind of covering what he calls oddball games. One of them is Megabug, which is very loosely based on Pac-Man by Datasoft, but it was also published under different names for different computers, which is a little odd because I think they were all Datasoft. Is that right, Mark? Like even Dung Beetles for the Apple II was Datasoft? What do you remember?
Yeah, I believe it was. Even Dung Beetles for the Apple was Datasoft, as I remember.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why Datasoft made the same game for multiple machines and named it differently each time. Like that just doesn't make sense to me, but okay, whatever. Because I think there was 3 names for it. Just strange. But the other game is... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So now you will have to cross-check competing games on all the other systems to see if they had a similar name that Datasoft was afraid of copying too close. You know.
Oh, maybe that could be like
It's
a copyright on that particular
complicated, you know?
platform or something. That could be. Megabyte to me is a better title than Dung Beetles because Dung Beetles kind of implies something.
Right.
So
I don't want to buy. I
that
don't
wasn't
need
good
any-
marketing to me.
They're being edgy, I'm sure.
The other two games he decided to play, and I wouldn't exactly call them both oddball. Outhouse, I would call oddball. Now, he did have one slight mistake. He said that the Coco version of Outhouse was basically the only platform available. That's not quite true. The game originally came out on the Tier City Model 1 and 3 and was a hit there. And then the same author did the Model 1 3 one, actually did the Coco version, I think, a year later for Mitchtron or Computer Shack, as it was called back then. But that's the only platforms that appear on, so he's pretty close. It was only on Tier City Model 1, Model 3, and the Coco. And it's a quirky one. You're protecting an outhouse from people stealing toilet paper, and you've got squatters. I can't remember the name of the other one is, but basically people that will either go in, open the door, and then 50 sheets disappears from your total and come back out, or you have the guy that gets stuck in his pant leg and drags it across screen, depleting your outhouse of its valuable toilet paper. It's like they predicted COVID, like 30 years
Right.
before.
I was going to say, what a great COVID game.
And then you've got like alien saucers trying to shoot you, and you've got bomb things that are coming to kill the outhouse, and you got crushers that come down and try to kill the outhouse, and it keeps adding stuff as you go. And it gets quite frenetic later on in the game. It's hilarious. There's even sound effects to kind of resemble farting and stuff. I would definitely place that in the oddball category. Return of the Jedi, I don't think I would. It's basically based on Star Wars, of course, with a slight name change to not get sued. And basically, it's a 3-stage game. The first one is very similar to Death Chase on the Sinclair. And actually, the Sinclair game and this game came out the same year in '83. So I'm not sure who beat who to doing the 3D, driving through a forest thing, dodging trees and, fallen logs and stuff, and trying to ram other bikers into the trees and picking up the Ewoks and all that kind of stuff. And then there's a second one where you're trying to steer through openings in various walls you're coming up to in kind of City 3D. And then you come up with the main control center. You have to shoot a dead center to kill it before you get too close to it and ram into it instead. Cool game. Ran in 16K, which is quite impressive for having that variety of gameplay on the 3 screens. But I don't know if I'd quite call it oddball. I think it's odd that they picked that, but it's a good review, and he plays each game for a good 20 minutes each. You're getting some really good gameplay footage and being able to see the different levels, etc., as you go through. So very, very good video. And I'm glad he snuck that in for Septandy, because as I said, Septandy, this is the last weekend of it. It's ending at the end of September, and that's just a few days away. So, and that's it for the gaming news. I think I've covered everything, and I did it in under my 2 hours. So that was good. So I don't know if Mark, did you want to do a commercial? And I'll say, see you all next week early here since I have to go. And Sloopy's handling the Game On news, I believe.
Yes, he is.
Game On results.
Game On results.
Oh, yeah.
If there are any.
Results.
He's doing it.
I did sneak in a score for the one Rat Attack game, so hopefully he caught that.
Okay, here we go.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right,
Later, guys.
bye.
Hello, everyone. It's your good buddy, your good pal, Amigo, and joined by that dastardly The Brent from ARG Presents.
You're watching CoCoNation.
I feel like that should have been longer.
The CoCoNation Show would like to thank the following patrons: AC's 8-Bit Zone, Alex Gare, Alan Huffman, Barry Tompkinson, Boysen Tech, Brendan Donnie, Brian Walsh, Brian Weasler, Karen Askham, Coconut Bob, Daddy Burrito, David Ladd, Derek Smithson, Diego BF109, Don Barber, Eric Canales, Frederick Segard, Glenn Hewlett, Graham Wabke, Grant Leedy, Henry Gernhardt, Henry Strickland, Jason Warrens, Jeffrey Drywater, Jim Mullis, Justin Larson, Ken Reichard, Kevin Holloway, Michael Hill, Patrick Euland, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, R. Allen Murphy, Richard Harding, Rob Inman, Rocky Hill, Steve Bateson, Terry Trapp, TJB Chris, Tom C., Tom Gunderson, Tom S., William Athing. Thank you so much, patrons. If you would like to support the CoCoNation show, sign up at patreon.thecoconation.com.
Hey everyone, I'm TJB Chris, and I'm watching the CoCoNation live show, and so are you. And probably shouldn't be pointing that thing at you. Enjoy!
Welcome to everybody's favorite segment, Who's New to Discord?
Oztech says, yes, I am the one and only Foztex of Retro Battle Stations fame. I've been messing around with my Coco 2 for September on a program that plays sound with the 6-bit DAC. I'm using an ancient assembly routine that was modified by Paul Fiscarelli to run on interrupts. The preceding bios were edited for time. Thanks to Boysentech, Frederick Micro Hobbyist Sigard, Glenside Computer Club, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, Tandy Color Computer 3, Wingnut 2626, and the CoCoNation patrons for boosting the server. Please consider joining Discord and visiting the welcome section to read these bios in full and see what the community has to offer. Just go to discord.thecoconation.com.
See you on Discord.
And we are back. Let's see. All right. Oh, that didn't turn off. There we go. Okay. Project updates and acquisitions. Was that you, Rick, that spoke up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I just wanted to state my claim for Septandy. So remember last week I was showing you this. I had finished the cover sheet for my electronic book thing.
Yeah, right before you went into traction.
And then, yeah, I had a problem with the some of the resistor values. The numbers didn't come up right with Ken's project. So I changed the resistors and got that all working. And then I went to put two together. And I guess the guy who drew the plastic sheet and the guy who drew the circuit board didn't talk. Because there were a few blobs of contention there. The orange blobs all had to move. So move the orange blobs. And now we're all set to go, except the show's already here. So I couldn't get it done in time for the show. However, I will throw a couple of links. There will be GitHubs before the end of Septandy to just prove I got it done. That I'll let's see, throw in the cache here. My GitHub has the electronic book and the Trek game, which are very, very, very close to being done, but I didn't get them done by today. So give me 2 more days, guys, and by Tuesday, this is all finished, I swear.
Okay.
Well, the alpha release is all finished. How's that?
Okay.
Anyway, that's my update. Oh, and that board I was showing you earlier, I did get it all stripped off during the show, so now I can put this final circuit on it, make sure it works. That is the step that needs to be done before I publish it, is make sure I didn't screw something up at the last minute. Because trust me, I've done that before. Anyway, thank you, folks.
Okay. Sloopy. Sloopy.
Sleeping.
Yo, Earth the Sloopy.
Paging the sloop, Malibu.
Well, I can't move on with the next segment because it's him too.
Because he's the last couple of segments. Now what do we do?
The good old expression, you snooze, you lose.
Well, yeah, but then we're done, which is a really short show.
Yay!
So,
There
hey!
Yes. We were going to go down a rabbit hole, maybe.
Right? Have to invent something to talk about. That's scary.
I heard that Sloopy wasn't here, so we're ending the show now.
Too late. You've been busted. You left your camera on.
Darn it. I obviously wasn't here last weekend because for some reason my attendance at a baby shower was mandatory.
Damn family.
Yeah. Damn kids having kids. Didn't they learn
Right. Done with you people.
So last weekend I wasn't able to be here because the weekend before I wasn't here because I was at VCF Midwest.
Your excuse for that
So
one.
that's when you wish your kids had kids just like them.
Yeah, my son went with me, so that was great fun. And there's the background? None. So VCF Midwest 2025.
Cool.
I got 3 things. One, I got this really cool analog joystick from Tech Dungeon. No, I'm not a paid endorser for Tech Dungeon. I just like Michael's products. It's really nice. Works really great.
So is that into your high res? Is that what that secondary box is?
No,
I'm
that's
confused. The switcher.
That's the converter.
This box here is the.
Oh, that's the converter to make it a. Okay.
Yeah, Coco to USB, so I can use this on XROR.
Sorry, I'm a little slow.
Yeah, this is a Paul Fiscarelli box. The other thing I got was this.
It's a box.
With a
Drive
front
of some sort.
It's a drive for a Model 100.
It's a PDD, the 3.5-inch floppy drive for the Model 100.
Cool.
Do I win?
That exists?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it did. Now he's got it.
I don't have the cable for it, but cable's easy.
Do you have a Model 100?
Actually, I've got 2 of them.
So is that a normal drive inside so you can just fix it forever now that you've got the case?
So I figured while I'm here live on the show, let's put some batteries in it and see if it goes poof.
Do we need to fix it forever? All right.
What size batteries does it take?
It uses 4 AA's.
4 AA's?
Yes.
Right.
You didn't get them from the dollar store, did you?
No, worse. Amazon.
Oh.
The Duracell, so nice.
The dollar store batteries in a remote for the TV do not work very long.
I had some dollar store batteries. The 24 or 48 pack was about the weight of 12 regular batteries. It was amazing.
All right. Now, that it was nice that there was no batteries in it, which means that there was no
no corrosion,
battery damage,
no crud.
Nicely done.
But,
Do you have a Model 100 for it?
Yes, I have 2 Model 100s.
Do you have a 102?
No, I don't. And I don't have a Model 200, and I don't have a Model 600.
No, I don't either.
2 years ago
Sloopy,
at Tandy Assembly, I almost had a 200. All right, let's see
Sloopy,
what happens.
Mikey said, if you figure out what belt it needs, please tell him because it sounds like he's in need of
Oh,
one.
because he needs a belt. Okay.
Yeah. Making any noise?
Yeah, sounds like it's turning the floppy disk.
Hopefully it's somebody's regular floppy disk mechanism inside where you can get parts for the spinny whirly breakdown bits.
Yeah.
You're bound to get a good one if you buy 20.
But yeah,
There aren't 20. Yeah.
It didn't make any funky sounds.
Nice.
Sounded like the disc was turning while a motor was
No
turning.
smoke.
So the belt is there and the motor's working, and yeah.
So does anybody know how much these usually go for?
They're a couple hundred, aren't they, generally?
How much?
Aren't they like a
$450.
couple $100 on eBay?
Yeah, 100.
New or used?
There is no new ones.
No, what I mean when it came out.
New in box, you mean?
I'm saying nowadays.
Nowadays, I would guess at least 400.
What'd you pay?
$20.
Wow.
Block him. Block him.
Okay,
$20.
so one.
Holy smokes.
All right, third thing.
A Coco box. Yep. Sometimes you can get them online for
Someone
40
sat on
bucks.
it. Oh, someone sat on it, but the Coco held the top up.
Oh, look. You're lucky. You got one.
Or it's not bits and pieces either.
Looks a little yellow.
Nice shady yellow.
Don't speak too soon.
Oh, it is bits and pieces.
Somebody pulled the RF modulator out.
Did they,
This day
oh,
and
and there's a
age,
motherboard
no loss.
underneath. Or no, is that the shield? Hopefully?
out. That's the
Whoops.
RF shield.
Nice project.
Has an RF
Alright.
cable and
Has it already been
Pause the
capped
video.
for you?
And it's got a cover, man.
no RF shield. Yeah, and a cover. But when they opened it, that was the most shocking thing of all.
What, the
vinyl cover?
The serial number matches the box?
Let's check.
That's rare.
7232.
Even you, that's rare.
Right?
7232.
Well, you tell me.
Oh,
Looks a little.
It's not on there.
it may be on the floor or something.
Yeah.
64K extended basic.
Right?
That's a
So
good
what's
thing.
in it?
And it's a 263127.
That's what the box says.
Not a B.
And if you look
So
Very-
weird.
at the case,
Very specific sunlight pattern on this thing.
yeah, it's dented. It was
Someone's
melted
been sitting
there.
on it.
How do you do that?
I don't know, but it's like straight up melted.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
up at the sun.
That's got a new curve on it there.
Australian
Mhm.
cocoa. Yeah.
You could probably melt it back.
And then what's underneath? Well, that explains the brown a little bit. That thing had so much sun. It sunk.
Well, the other thing is, not only did it include the keyboard, but it has all the
Nice.
chips in it.
So the keyboard works, or don't you?
Oh, the
think?
inside's really nice. The outside's just
Yeah.
a little.
I was shocked because, quite honestly, I expected it to be stripped of all the socketed chips,
Right.
because usually they are when they're on the free pile.
That
And,
was the free pile?
this was on the free pile.
Whoa.
Free pile. Okay. He wins.
And the only thing is it doesn't have a T1, it has a regular 47.
Oh,
it's not a
throw
B.
it back.
Yeah.
That's because it's not a 27B.
Yeah.
And plus, you can tell sometimes by the
Nice.
label on the top of the cover. It's newer.
I mean, I was hoping for a T1, but
Yeah, the price was right on that one.
yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you get the screws for the? I know it's impossible. Are
Let's
they in
see.
there?
Where'd that bag go? Oh, it's there.
Mikey's unimpressed. He got it for free.
Yes, I did get screws.
Oh, that is rare.
Oh, sweet. The whole case hardware set. Nice.
Yeah.
All the little push pins for your cover and all that stuff.
It's
Yeah.
like the IKEA version, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
push pins in it.
Oh, you didn't get the push pins for the heat shield? Rip
Nope.
off. Take it back. Get your money back.
Did you get the switcher?
The what?
The switcher that you get?
No.
No.
Oh, right.
No.
Bummer. They give you the cable,
It might
though?
be.
At the heat depth of the universe, someone's going to find one of those TV boxes laying in the rubble of the earth. It's just
That,
I got a ton of
That might be the
switchers if
shield.
people want them.
that
But at
might
the
be the
price,
RF
I'm not.
shield that doesn't take the little pins. It might just be the one that clips on around the edges.
Did
Yeah.
you say you didn't power it up yet?
No, I have not.
No.
So,
Probably does work though, I'll bet you.
yeah.
Yep.
After the baby shower last week, we came home and we started moving bedrooms around and such in
No time.
anticipation of the baby coming home in a month or
Right.
so. So we've been busy.
it's running. Yeah.
You can't see it but over here on the other side is completely different now.
It's Sloopy's new bedroom.
Well, technically for now, yes.
Oh, it is for a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because my son moved down into the bedroom that I had. I'm moving up into the bedroom that he had, but it needed drywall and it needed paint.
But this week you get that.
So
Did the music stop?
the music?
You know how you run around the chairs until the music stops?
Yeah.
Oh, and then someone's got to grab the
Yeah.
Yeah, we took the pool table out, so I no longer have a pool table.
Oh, man.
That's
yeah,
Come on. Tell the truth. You only put stuff on it anyway.
For the last couple years, yes. But yeah, we had to cut it in half to take it out.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
No.
Yeah, I was cheesed because the guy who sold it to me lied to me. He told me it was a honeycomb base, and it's not.
Was it
Right.
slate?
It was a sawdust and epoxy base.
Oh, so no nice slate top or anything to.
No, it had a covering to make it look like slate from underneath.
But it would not.
No.
Did you ruin your skill saw blade?
No.
I use
That
someone
reminds-
else's skill saw.
Speaking of honeycomb's great. Yeah. It's not...
Yeah.
Oh,
table.
it's small.
Yeah, for a pool table, a honeycomb table bed is really good. It's not as good as slate, but it's like a
Right, but it's decent. Yeah, it keeps the stuff that's packed in it horizontal, which is what you need to happen.
How did they get it in your basement?
Well, I didn't have so much stuff, so it was slightly easier. Plus, I had two strong teenage boys.
Yeah, you
Right.
take you take half of that table out front and say half off sale.
Besides, going down the stairs is easier than going up.
Yeah. So
Should have just thrown a mattress on top of it and called it a day.
Well, then I also had I had two sofas down here. Well, it was actually a single sofa. It's like went around the a room, but I had it set up as two sofas, and then the one sofa we cut that in half and took it upstairs and out to the dump. So now you can actually see, instead of having two small little paths, one going to the left and one going to the right, I now have actual room on the floor. You can actually see the floor. And the good news is that 95% of the stuff over there got moved and restored on shelves and such with no damage.
What we want to hear is if you found the stuff that rolled under stuff that you didn't know where it was.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I lost that back in 74. Damn.
Unfortunately, that 5%, I have a TIPC.
Oh, man.
If you're familiar with them. It is
clone that I made.
Huh?
Texas Instruments.
Yes, it's a TIPC. It's
they made one.
It's an MS-DOS compatible PC. It runs at 5 megahertz, 8088 or 8088.
4.77 maybe.
No, 5.
5. Wow.
Yes.
Because TI is weird.
Yeah. It's sort of like the Sanyo MBC 550. Yeah, it's like the Sanyo MBC 550. It's an MS-DOS compatible, not an IBM compatible.
Oh, right.
Like the
EGA or
2000.
CGA.
Yeah. It's monochrome. Or no, it's color. No, it's
Hercules.
monochrome.
So being 5 versus 477, they can say we're faster than everyone.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, 7 keys got broke on the keyboard. And unfortunately, the keyboard, there's 2 different keyboards for them.
Proprietary.
And yes, very. And there's 2 different keyboards on them. And the one that I have is the one that everybody wants.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
Well, you can sell all the spare parts.
Yeah.
Speaking of old computers,
cut it in half.
I had a guest that came here earlier for dinner, for lunch, and he said, "Oh, I remember," because I showed him my stuff, and he said, "Wow, it's neat." And when I was young, I had an Interact computer. I said, "What the hell is that? Never heard of it."
Sounds familiar.
It's familiar, but what is it?
An Interac.
Yeah.
INTERAC.
I think so. Yeah.
Sounds familiar, but I don't.
Yeah, and that was stuff. Imagine you're not familiar with it, so
1978. Wikipedia is our friend.
Oh, someone's playing Rat Attack.
Oh, it's cool. Built-in cassette. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not? Microsoft Basic. So
It wasn't an 8080, if I remember correctly.
I believe that's what he said.
Yeah, I do believe it's an 8080.
It's a known thing, and yeah, it's a cool looking little computer.
Yeah. But yeah, so I did get some other stuff at VCF Midwest, but nothing Tandy, so any questions about VCF Midwest, or were they all answered last week by the people that were there?
Do they have a amount of people that showed up figure?
No, they can't calculate that because they don't charge admission. What they can tell you is halfway through Saturday, they ran out of visitor badges and they had 3,000 of them made.
Wow.
Okay, so another day and a half to go.
Yeah,
Out of
Sunday's
badges.
not. Yeah, there's
it drops
many
off
people on
but
Sunday. So honestly, you probably only have like maybe 100 or so additional on Sunday, or mostly just the people that are there that are making last minute deals and such. But yeah, I would say probably well over 3,000, because I know they said they ran out around like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, there was like a long line of people coming in, because the aisles were 14 feet wide, and literally you had to go sideways to get anywhere. So
I really missed that one because I couldn't function to walk around. If it was a smaller show, I could get in and sit somewhere. And
well, yeah, you could have came and sat.
No, it's just too big. I couldn't have got to a place to sit.
Yeah, just get a mobility. We'll get one of the carts that we bring the stuff in,
and just put me on it. And,
put you on it.
Sloop, come get me.
Got you covered, wheelchair. Bro. Yeah. Or yeah, a wheelchair. If you would have said, I mean, I can get a wheelchair.
Yeah, I got to organize this handicap stuff or something just in case. I don't know.
Yeah.
A walker.
I mean, this was the neatest show, and I missed it.
Yeah. Well, I missed all the shows last year, so except for VCF East.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, no one would let me go anywhere. So, any other questions about VCF Midwest that weren't answered last week? Or questions that were asked week that you want a different...
That's the problem. There's so many freaking questions. Where do you start? We don't have...
Oh, yeah, another thing I got. The other thing I got that wasn't Coco related.
SD card.
What? I see.
Cool.
It's a
fake,
TI.
It's a fake flash ROM.
It's a it's a TI. TI 994A flash ROM 99. They're a little bit older, because of the weirdness in the TI 99. They use what's called GROMs, which are kind of like port addressable ROMs, and that are specific to that machine. And so they have some cartridges that are standard ROMs, and then they have some that are GROMs, Well, this was the early emulator that would handle all the ROMs. Then they make a new one that's called a final GROM that actually handles ROMs and GROMs. So this is like deprecated, but it'll handle like 98% of the TI-99 stuff, 4A stuff out there. And I picked this up used from someone. Normally they're like 80 bucks. I picked it up for 40. So,
I mean, the basic problem with the TI-99 4A was they wanted one system for all of TI computers. Imagine the Coco had to run the same system as the Xenix Model 16 system. How well would the Coco run trying to emulate a Model 16? That's what the 99 4A was trying to do. Was emulate their mini computer as a microcomputer. And
it was more of the fact that they wanted to use a different processor, but TI refused to use someone else's processor.
Well, right.
The only one they had was the 9900.
Because they had this master plan of all TI computers are going to run the same operating system and same processor family, just bigger and smaller and blah blah. Yeah,
I don't think that so much limited them as much as their demand that anything that was sold for the machine had to go through them.
Well, it was over and above all their other BS.
Yeah, well, I think that was the biggest thing that hurt them, because anytime someone tried to release something for their machine, they would jump on them.
You couldn't, yeah.
With copyrights and such. I think that was the biggest problem.
Do you think that's why they decided to stupidly reverse the nomenclature of the data pins?
No, that was to look like their mini computers.
Yeah, no,
they wanted their micro to look like their minis in all respects, whether it made sense or not.
Yeah,
I wish I had the link in front of me. There's some guy that really went into it, but yeah, they just they had an idea.
Yeah, after about 73. Yeah, after about 73, 74, Texas Instruments really jumped the shark badly.
In the early days, computer people wanted to make their standard so that everyone would, copy them.
Right.
They were so cool, but what do we wind up with?
Microsoft.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enough off topic. I don't want to talk about the TI. It's giving me the willies.
Well, besides, you got to go through a whole games thing here in a minute. So,
yeah. Well, I don't mind that.
Well, no, but you got to keep talking, man. You got to keep talking. You got to. No, it's got to make sense. Your contract says these have to be intelligible English sentences.
And no
cussing. Ready for the high score challenge intro?
Sure.
I hope so.
He wants to keep it organized.
Okay.
Hi, and welcome to the Game On Challenge. And I'm talking slow because I'm delaying because I'm trying to find my screen to share. There we go.
Classic.
Alrighty. All right. And we're not typing. We were playing the Game On Challenge number 282. Wow.
Uh-oh.
Oops. 3,
that was
1.
200.
Oh,
why
that's
don't you
because
type run?
Load the right drive?
Nope. Hey, there it works.
Woo.
We played Rat Attack by Wayne Wood and Jerry Casey. Hopefully I pronounced those names correctly. We had 12 rat munchers. In 13th place, Ken Ken.
Sad score.
Oh, no Ken. I need a new best friend. If anyone's available and would like to apply for the position, let me know. In 12th place, we had Mark B with 60.
Yay! That was a hard-earned 62.
The button pusher.
Excuse me. 11th place, we had Marco with 232.
Yay.
10th place, we had Doug V 4850 with 233. 9th, we had Jim Rye with 264. 8th, we had Ed Rhodes with 278. 7, Mike Zweifel with 528. 6, L Curtis Boyle with 708. 5, 5th place, holy cow, with 1268. 4th, Tasman with 1466. 3rd place with Coconut Bob with 1671. 2nd place, Retro Rick with 2947. And the number 1 exterminator of rats is Dr. Ted with 7361. Yay! Thank you all for playing. And a big salute to Dr. Ted.
Yeah.
Salute.
So, excuse me.
Pardon my death.
All right.
All right, let's vote on it.
So any words of praise or love for Rat Attack?
No.
Any words,
Played many
period?
worse ones. It worked okay when she figured it out.
All right, I guess I'll start. I thought it was a rather interesting way that an interesting take on the whole snake game and the eating of things games, where normally in most snake games, when you go through and you hit a wall or something, you die. This one, you just lose your bonus, which I thought was a very interesting and new way of executing the snake. Sometimes the rats were quite annoying trying to eat them with the way they would just run away from you, or even sometimes they would be like only half a cell away from you and you still weren't eating them.
Yep.
But yet you're like 2 blocks away from the other snake and it kills you.
Must be the smell.
I have no idea. I mean, I didn't think I smell. I mean, I took my weekly shower. I mean, what else am I going to do? I put my anti-smelly stuff on. I mean, I know I don't wear cologne, but still. So, yeah, because it seemed that sometimes just being next to the head of the other snake would kill you, and other times it wouldn't. So, did anyone play?
Play what? I submitted a score, didn't I?
Yeah. Anyone besides Marco? Have any
Sorry, it wasn't there.
comments? I
No,
mean,
that's why I was first place. Nobody else did.
Might have played a game or two.
why doesn't
One
Ken
thing
ever
that,
have this problem with people volunteering information?
Well, maybe
We're a
it's the
lot
way
later in
it
the
was
show
handed.
than we're used to.
Everyone's still asleep from the news.
One thing I kept forgetting that the sides were a pass through.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple times I'd go up to it and then just turn around and then realize, oh, I should have gone through that.
Yeah, should have just kept going. That's safe.
Yeah.
One thing about your characters, if you get stuck like in a corner or whatever, you can just wait. And as your bonus runs down, your snake gets shorter. And eventually you get back to 2 segments. And then you can double back on yourself. So yeah, there is literally, unless you crash into a wall or crash into the other snake, you can muddle through.
Yeah.
It's a risky strategy, though.
Not really. I mean, it's not like the other snake could get you while you're there, because usually you're stuck somewhere.
Your head's in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
No, it just requires perfect control.
Yeah. And not running into the other snake or running into yourself. So,
Right.
So since everyone is excited about Rat Attack, what about the other game? Anybody have any comments or interest in that?
Never heard of it.
You never heard of it? It was called let's
You
see.
mean Flippy?
Flippy, that's it.
Nope, never heard of it.
What was the point? Flipping people?
No, it's sort
flipping
of
balls.
like clowns and balloons, where the balloons you're trying to catch, and but you're trying to balance them on the seal's nose.
It's a pretty fun one, actually.
Yeah, I saw some people that were enjoying it, and a few people that were flipping it, and it wasn't the seal that they were flipping. Excitable bunch here. I mean, did someone switch your coffee with decapitated?
Decapitated.
There's a finger in my coffee.
Yeah.
Played worse games. It wasn't too bad. As you can see, I didn't come in last. I didn't even come in next to last.
Well, we haven't done the score.
That's pretty good music.
Yet. Yeah.
I like the music and sound effects are pretty good in Flippy. The controls are not bad.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, so
Takes a little getting used to.
yeah. So anybody else want to get excited and talk about their experiences with Flippy or?
Well, I didn't play it, so I can't tell anything. Can't say anything about it though.
Except Tandy, man. We've been busy.
Everybody's been tired. They've been doing their Septandy videos.
I should do one. Eh? Yeah, I'll do one before the end.
So, anything else? Bueller. Yeah.
Hopefully you have a game for next week.
Oh,
Please tell us you have a game for next week, because we've got to move forward. Otherwise, we're stuck on last week.
With all the excitement here, I might just do Rat Attack another week.
Or Neutroid.
Neutroid.
I'm not allowed to do Neutroid. Let's just say that my physical health was brought into question if I picked Neutroid.
It would be declining rapidly.
Yeah, in a very painful and terrifying method. So, but yeah, so I guess I have to pick another game. Let's see here. What game should I pick?
Didn't we play a second game this last week?
Yeah, Flippy.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we were just talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, Flippy Flop.
Someone's not awake.
I thought we're still talking about the Rat Attack one.
No. Any input on Flippy from you, Mark?
Played it.
And how was it?
I found level 1.
Did you find level 2?
No.
I got to 3 actually.
Although I'm finding my controls though, playing with those. Actually, I think a Black Beauty would probably be best for playing this one. Because my thumb joystick just wasn't doing the job.
All right. Let's see here. I was just recommended a game, but have we played that yet though? Let's take a look real quick.
So how many total games are there on the Coco?
A list that's about this high.
So, okay. So we're not in any danger of running out, huh?
Yeah, we are.
Really?
Let's see here. Yep.
Well, if we go and cycle back to the first episode, people won't remember.
Pretty
How many
much.
years has that been? You know, we could just start over.
In dog years?
Yeah, well, we're at game on 282, roughly 50 weeks per year. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So about almost 5 years.
So whatever your score was back then, it doesn't apply anymore, and you're going to have to re-enlist. Like your driver's license, it's expired. You're going to have to do it again.
4 years ago.
Actually, this looks halfway decent. Let's see here. Have
What
we
is
played
it?
it?
Retell.
If we haven't played it, then I guess we could play it. If we have played it,
I thought it was decided by a super committee.
That's what all the marketing materials say. They actually use a magic 8-ball.
evidently we have not played
The
it.
realistic one.
I like this idea better.
Legal game.
Because then I can blame someone else if it's a bad game. So, congratulations, Retro Rick. Your recommendation is our new game. And
Look at this. He's pointing the finger. And he hasn't even mentioned mentioned the game yet. He's already pointing fingers.
Not once anywhere.
Nope. I have not. Extract here. And then
We're waiting for the title page to download over his 2400 baud modem.
Oh, it's already done. Drive control.
Where's that cassette sound again?
Major
Feedback.
Tom to drive
Insert.
control.
And there it is, and there it is, and there, and set the machine type, and share the screen. Share.
Oh, I'm gonna play the extended basic.
Yes. The Dur.
Weirdo.
Wow, that's even better than Scriptset. There's the name.
Press reset of red and any key of blue. There. Weirdo.
Weirdo.
Press a button to play. So let's see what this looks like.
Name that weirdo.
Oof.
Right?
It looks like a Robotron clone. That is very difficult.
Doesn't look like you're
Yeah.
killing anything either.
No.
Oh, he doesn't have time for his bullets to hit anything till they kill him. This is
Oh, all you do, the phasers are set on stun.
Oh, you're supposed to like.
You're supposed to stun.
Oh, you have to do it a bunch of times.
No,
Or you
you
have to be
do it in
close enough.
pairs. You have to do it in pairs. Didn't we play something like this before?
Yeah, you had to shoot the matching.
Like wacky food.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So weirdo it is for the next 2 weeks.
And we'll figure out how it works, and we'll all know.
Yep. You'll have to figure out how it works so you can play. Let's see here.
Oh, man, that's not normal.
So I guess that is it for the Game On Challenge.
You're not going to show any footage from Thursday? Not going to plug next Thursday?
You're killing me, Smalls.
That was a Ken thing.
Those were Ken that usually does.
Okay.
You know you're supposed to be here on Thursday, people. Come on. Just
Pointing fingers again.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't really have an official show because we were missing our Canadians.
Yeah.
This is true. They won't even see us up there. So
Yeah, what's the big idea?
I can tell you why this time.
So I had to invoke my half Canadian.
It was the postal strike?
No, actually, my wife worked at a new restaurant. And instead of finish at 9, she finished at 7. So she arrived earlier. So yeah, we did stuff. But
fair enough.
But yeah, so when she finishes at 9, she arrives at 9:30, 9:45 on normally. So that's why I can be there. But you know,
Oh, that's why it
It has
says
to be
familiar
there
weirdos
for
from
his
T&D software. That's
All
why
right,
it has the
let's see
screen that
here.
says if blue, press a key. Otherwise, hit reset.
Okay. T&D.
Um,
Same people did flipping.
YouTube. Let's find this here. And the CoCoNation.
Carry the 4.
And live. Put that up there so we can see what we're doing. The Game On Challenge live. All right, and then share that. Let's see here. Screens. I think that one's the right one. Guess we'll find out soon enough. Yep. It looks like the right one. Is that the right one? Cool. So,
We'll play.
Thursday's Game On Challenge live.
Hit the full screen button, would you?
will be held on Tuesday.
Yes, it was last Thursday. We had 5 people. I think we had 6 at one time. But I could be
I was
wrong.
on there eventually.
Nope, we only had 5. Yep, we had 5 people. We had 2 that didn't show screens, but fun was had by all. They actually played the games that were chosen. And the only real issue we had was a severe lack of Canadian representation.
All right, I understand.
To actually be able to broadcast in Canada, we had to take half of Mark B, his Canadian half, give Mark O a quarter Canadian because he lives so close to it. And then we deemed someone else an honorary Canadian. I don't remember who that was. And so that made a whole Canadian, which allowed us to broadcast in Canada.
By your powers combined, I am a full Canadian.
Right. We have a full Canadian. So. But yeah, it was a good show. We could have used more people, more fun. So why aren't you there? Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Be there or be a Commodore user.
I mean,
Oh no, not that.
oh man, now I'm on the spot. I live in Wisconsin. The state tree is a maple tree.
Yep.
I thought it was a Commodore tree.
Yeah, you would have gotten us a whole half, so we could have had half Mark B and half Rick.
And we got our content. Damn.
And then we would have had our content. So
I'm gonna need more time. Oh, that's okay. The Harley show stopped this week, so
yeah.
I'm off Thursdays now.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
All right. So that was the show. And I guess that's it for the Game On. Back to you, Mark B.
Okay. Oh. Ah.
He vaults over the chair back into his desk.
Yeah, back in the chair. Where's my mouse?
With the cat.
Mouse.
Right.
Cat
Get
stole
the
it.
right mouse. There we go. Where's my list? Yeah, I think that was everything on the list.
I think it is.
I think we're done. How we do that?
Yay.
All right, so over here and over here.
This concludes another episode of the CoCoNation, the world's leading live interactive talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things the CoCoNation, visit us on the web at thecoconation.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to show@thecoconation.com. The CoCoNation show would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. The CoCoNation theme song, copyright 2022, D. Bruce Moore. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. The CoCoNation is over. Join us on the Coco Discord server. Coco forever.
You know, whenever music's playing like that, you want to go over and hit it so it'll keep going on the record player.
Bump it back. Bump it back.
It's skipping. It's skipping.
Yeah. Get it quick.
Okay, I guess that's it for this week. Be back on next week, same time, same place. Don't forget Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, not Central, Eastern.
Right. So Tandy's over, the pressure's off. Just get back to enjoying your life. Like games.
Am I just missing it, or has it just not been quite as much Septandy this year?
Not much.
Not so
not
much.
much, yeah.
It's just been a stressful year for everybody. It's
Okay. Well, in that case, we just say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you for coming.